All right, here we are. Finally, I made it after resolving some technical difficulties. We made it to the Your Voice Talk Show. That's right, established this year. I'm coming home after work on a Wednesday night and trying to get it right. Just covering everything from local stuff, trying to get to the truth, dig through the BS. Just sitting here. I was going to have a guest tonight. Unfortunately, he had to cancel out. And that's okay. I got enough stuff to go through, I think. There's a lot of things for us to talk about, get to the bottom to. I'm your host, Alejandro. Say it like you mean it. For the Your Voice Talk Show, we're here on YouTube at Station 08. Tell your friends, tell your family, because that's the same people running the government. Uh-oh, I probably shouldn't have said that. But, hey, what do you do? Oh, I'm going to look at me and knocking the place over. Anyways, it's been a long day. I'm ready to cut through the crap. I don't usually read the newspaper anymore. However, I do go through the news. And if you caught anything prior, you know I'm local to the Metro Detroit area. And I'm good with that. I like being a Detroit boy. That's right. You know how to grow up tough. And let me tell you, the 70s and 80s in the Metro area was tough. Still tough. Yeah, I was looking at the Detroit news today, going over some stuff. And man, you know, nothing ever ceases to amaze me what goes on around here anymore. Although we don't have the problems that a lot of other places have, but we got our share, that's for sure. So I'm going through. You know, there's been a rash of shootings in this country for the dumbest shit, right? Like pulling up in the wrong driveway, you know, taking a pizza and pointing a rifle at neighbors during an argument. Here in Michigan, the state police said that Brenda Kowalski pointed a .22 caliber at several people. I gotta pull this up totally. We gotta get this up here. North Michigan woman accused of pointing a rifle at neighbors during an argument. You want to see the photo? Let me drag it over here. Hold on. Let me drag it over here. A Northern Michigan woman was accused of pointing a rifle at several people after an argument with them last week, Michigan State Police said. Brenda Marie Kowalski, 54. You know, I'm 54. What is that? She's a Gen Xer. You know, I'm 54 myself, and I'm going to tell you, man, you get to that point in your life, and it's just like some things just are too much or aren't worth it. Anyways, Brenda Marie Kowalski, 54, of Commons Township, was charged in Mayo's 81st District Court with 2 counts of assault with a dangerous weapon and 2 counts of using a firearm during a felony. $50,000 bond. 5 years in prison if she's convicted of the assault. Each assault, actually. So apparently she assaulted a lot of people. Way up in Alpena, called to the home in Reber Road, the township. Let me get a picture of her over there. On April 27th, so just a few days ago. There you go. There she is right there, huh? Threatened a bunch of people. How nice is that? All right. So just to go along with all the other violence that we have going on here, those of you who are in the area, you know, we had a semi-truck strike the road bridge at southbound 275 in Monroe. You know, that was a mess. I didn't want to sit in any of that. Most of that area is already in construction. You're just getting out of it anyways. Here's another one. 1 dead, 2 wounded in shooting Tuesday on Detroit's west side. West side. Used to have a doghouse on the west side. Oh, man. See, look, you know, it doesn't surprise me. You know, coming from Detroit, you either get used to it, you're numb to it. I don't understand what's going on there. Somebody said something the other day. I caught them on a YouTube post, and they were talking about how they didn't think Detroit was that violent. And so I did a little bit of research, come to find out Detroit in 2022, fourth quarter, Detroit ranked number 3 in homicides. Oh, I'll let that sit. Does it feel homicidal around here to you? I mean, really think about it. Does it feel homicidal? Or have we just gotten numb to the way the Detroit area is? Because we are ranked number 3 in the country, and that's behind Chicago. Right? I mean, we can look at the news. We can look at the news and just see the madness going on there in Chicago, right? You know, with the with the Walmarts and all the stores getting raided by literally, what did I see? I seen a thing the other day. It was over 100 teenagers and young adults literally rampaging, right? Do you see that going on here in the Metro Detroit area? 1 dead, 2 wounded in the shooting Tuesday on Detroit's west side. Right? Is this stuff raining down everywhere? Are we just numb to it? Man, I really don't know. How do we rank number 3? Because I just, it doesn't feel like that to me. And, like I've been saying, I think most of the stuff that happens in the Detroit area happens through association. If you're going to hang out with an element of people that just don't align with any sensible logic, you're going to wind up with unsensible results. Plain and simple. Authorities said the 2 men and women were discovered shot inside a vehicle parked at the location. 700 block of Louder Street near Plymouth Road in Hubble, over by the old American Motors plant, if you're familiar with Hubble and Plymouth Road area here in Detroit. Did a lot of AMC work over there for American Motors Corporation. There's an old one for you, right? That's right down the street from there, if you're familiar with that. It's right by the train tracks. You know what I'm talking about. Police continue to investigate, are not releasing further information for some reason, because they probably have a clue. I like clues, especially Blue's Clues. My kids liked them back in the 90s. So, yeah, here's another one. Man found shot in car on M14 near I-275 Wednesday. Maybe we do rank 3rd. I'm starting to feel it now. I'm reading Detroit News. And you know what? I should do some comparisons between Detroit News and the Free Press. Let's to kind of investigate kind of real time what the division is really like. Because the way I see it, and I glance, like, don't get me wrong. I grew up on the Detroit News and the Detroit Free Press as a little kid. I actually had a paper route, right? Pulled the wagon, rode the bag, I was a screen door banger for sure, man. Like Tom Brady would be proud. Okay. I'm going to tell you that when it comes to tossing and folding papers, you couldn't beat me. I can rubber band a pineapple into nothingness in just a few minutes, but that was back in the day before my hands started feeling like they do these days. I'm not a young spring chicken anymore, man. I'm getting old. I'm too old to be dealing with this man shot in car on M14 near I-275 Wednesday. Am I driving? I'm living around all this around here. Is that what's going on? And I'm just what? Am I too caught up in my own little existence and my own struggles and my own my own little world to even notice these things? I mean, I read it. Detroit ranked number 3. Right? Come on, people. What are we doing out here to rank? Look, and right under this one, let's just go through this. I'm going to bring this back over to the screen for everybody. If you're watching me, this is really kind of disheartening in a sense, Where are we at here? All right, let me track this over. Get you over here, show you what I'm looking at. Okay, look, this is Detroit News. You can see it right here. Teen charged in connection with shooting on Detroit's Riverwalk. Man found shot in car on M14 near I-275 Wednesday. In stable condition. At least he's a survivor, I guess, provided he still got most of his body with him. Body found inside a burning car on Southfield Freeway near mile. Let's read that. Let's drag that back over here. I can see. Okay, just read this. 8 miles, one of those things. I got a TikTok video about 8 miles. 8 miles that way. All right. Weird. Where are we at here? I just lost myself. There we go. A body found inside a burning car on Southfield Freeway near 8 Mile. Tuesday night in a car that was on fire on the Southfield Freeway near 8 Mile. Michigan State Police said, boy, the Michigan State Police are doing all of Detroit's job, aren't they? How come Detroit Police ain't telling me nothing? Man. Police are investigating. Which police? State police? Local police? Which police? I mean, we are within the, aren't we within a 200-mile radius of the border? Shouldn't they be on this too? What's that? Homeland Security? Who's got that now? I don't even know. Anyways, officials said troopers were called out about 11:50 p.m. Tuesday to a location on northbound Southfield Freeway north of 8 Mile Road in Southfield for a report of a car blocking the middle lanes. While en route, they received reports that the car was on fire. Firefighters arrived and extinguished the blaze. Authorities said they examined the vehicle and found a body inside. Can you imagine what that's like to be? No wonder why extraction people rank high on the occupational suicide, right? Anybody familiar with that? Occupational suicide? Who ranks on that? You guys ever looked into that stuff? Because those are some gnarly stats too. You know, I'll tell you that. Those are some very gnarly stats. Getting back, let me get back to this. According to the preliminary investigation, the driver of the vehicle was speeding and crashed into the rear of a smart bus. I bet he felt that. Troopers spoke to the bus driver and he told them he saw multiple vehicles speeding on the freeway and believed they were racing when one of them struck his bus. Investigators said they do not know the identity of the deceased and an autopsy is scheduled to be continued Wednesday. Brought to you by Detroit News. Yep. You know, how much you want to bet Dodge Charger Super B Red Eye 396? I'd be willing to go there with that. Man, another one. Now, you know, speaking of this, look, now we're moving into, you know, let's make this a full circle discussion if you're watching, right? We're moving into all these. Pleads guilty of Medicare fraud scheme. Fatal crash, sentenced to 40 years in prison. You know, we got guns and cars. And you know what? Here's another. I'm getting a correlation on this. Okay, I think the Detroit News might be trying to tell us something here. You know, when I look at all these headlines on today's on the main page, you know, we do got some good stuff going on though. But let me, you know, it's all guns, cars, and health system. Yeah, listen to this. Rifle at neighbors during argument. History civics scores U.S. students dipped amid pandemic. Well, of course. And don't even, I mean, you know what? Hey. Who's ready for the math, okay? Let alone today's civics class. I'm Gen X. You know, and then we've got the semi-trailer that strikes Telegraph Road. So that's traffic, recycling, nothing, shooting, car and shooting, Medicare fraud, fatal crash sentencing, Adam Township clerk voting. Oh, here's one. Growing coalition pushes to let gay men give blood. Oh, that's an interesting article. Maybe we should cover that. Was there, I didn't know, oh, the HIV fears. Yeah, I see that. That was a while ago. I don't even know. I'm not up on that. It's an interesting subject, though. Maybe for each other, you know, and I thought we tested this stuff for HIV anyways. But anyways, another healthcare, you know, and so the correlation I'm going to get to here is that statistically, approximately every year, I'm going to go straight to gun deaths, okay? Approximately every year, about 48 to 52 people die in America due to gun deaths of all varieties, everything accumulated, right? Like in total, everything, okay? Let me look it up here. Let me make sure, because don't take my word for it. Let's go. I'm going to go annual gun deaths in America. Okay, let's look at this number. Let me get this over here. We'll take a quick look at this. Let's see what I find on the show. Drag it over, give you a view of what I'm finding here. We'll go full screen on that. So we got usfacts.org. We got. Let's see. Let's try that. Let's go. Let's see what usfacts.org says about firearm deaths include all deaths involving guns, such as homicide, suicide, accidents, which I was saying annual. So look, we're 48,830 in 2021. You know, we're pushing 50,000. Probably this year, 49,000 to 50,000. I'll even be, like I said, a gratuitous 52,000. Okay, so let's remember that even on the heavy side, we're losing about 52,000 people a year in gun deaths in America, and that's pretty violent. I'm going to tell you, that's we're a violent place. Okay, so let me drag this back over here where I can work on it. And let me pull up some stats on traffic deaths. I think everybody's pretty well aware. I mean, if you're listening to me now, I think you're probably been able to figure out that traffic deaths in the United States are probably more than that, right? Which is a pretty interesting fact. Let's see. United States. Let's see. Annual traffic fatalities. 2021, we lost 31.8, so I'm even heavy on that. So let's go. Where are we at here? Each year, somebody asked that particularly. So more than 46,000 people die in car crashes every year, according to the annual United States road crash statistics. U.S. traffic fatality rate is 12.4 deaths per 100,000 inhabitants. Okay, so let's combine those and say, more than 46 to 52. That's a paltry 98,000 people a year we lose to gun and traffic deaths, accidents, and anything within those realms that causes people to leave this existence. Some of those horrific. A moment of coffee for the survivors. So let's compare that to something else here, okay? We're making such big deals out of traffic deaths, or not even the traffic deaths, the gun deaths. Oh my God. Well, I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm not negating any of those. I'm not saying that one is more valuable than the other or less valuable than the other. I'm not saying that gun deaths are justified either, because believe me, they're not. I don't believe that they are, and you can't catch me justifying a gun death. Ripping someone's head off, Fred Durst. Oh, here's to you, baby. Yes. Okay. Yeah, I can justify ripping someone's head off with my hands. I don't need a gun to do that. And if you're going to bring a gun to the fight, you might want to be prepared to lose it. About 250,000 medical malpractice deaths annually here in America. I'm going to get you some facts, because I don't want to come at this as an idiot, and I'm looking to learn. I'm looking to solidify my arguments and my points based on facts, and the best way for me to do that is to kind of, prove where I'm coming from. Quick Google search tells you. Look at that. About. Oh, nope. That's the wrong one. How did I get that? What? That's coming through backwards over there. Interesting. We are looking at. Nope, I lost my page. An uneasy 250,000 medical malpractice deaths in America. Every year. So I don't want to say that's good either, and it's actually worse than what we've been dealing with in the arena of gun deaths. And a lot of people are picking that battle, and I can see why. It's very random. It's very violent, right? And generally, a gun death is something that should only be done in a matter of protecting yourself your pot farm, your sexual orientation from attack. Like there's certain reasons why, obviously, you're going to want to use a weapon. Okay? I'm all about having your sidearm, your AR-15. You can have whatever you want, load it up. I think two gay guys should be able to protect their pot, their pot farm with a rocket launcher for the most part. But where we're at now, shooting people for pizzas and pulling up in dry. Where's the mentality of my neighbors at? Where's the mentality of my fellow Americans at? When it even just seems okay to even threaten somebody's life over a driveway or a pizza or a side eye or an internet, relationship qualm. How does that justify any of that? I don't understand. You're going to even get me having a hard time. Like the only time that even our military should be whipping out weapons is if we're under attack, but not when we're over there whipping out weapons on everybody else who's kind of like this. It's not good. I don't know what to say about it. Kind of disappointed going through the news this morning, or this afternoon, I should say this morning. Yeah, usually I would be doing that in the morning, but hey, it's a wonderful Wednesday, and I just got home from work. Some more news. Ford will reportedly roll out new Lincoln models in China. What do you think about that? They've been planning on doing that for a little while. I'll tell you that. For sure. Like, I just read an article about, from 2018, how Ford Motor Company was actually moving from America to China 80,000 units in 2018. I can only imagine since the dollar store went up to $1.25, they're probably moving an extra 25% across the board in Lincolns now, at least, I would say, and you could probably, that sounds like a reasonable exponential growth in today's great wealth transfer, right? What do you think? If you're out there listening, give me a call, 313-334-3402. We're taking phone calls. And we're talking about Ford. We're talking about Detroit. We're talking about the Motor City. Because there's definitely a lot of things going on in that regard. So Ford is moving production of Lincoln vehicle to China amid retooling of the Oakville plant. And that's the latest Ford news lately. Speaking of metro area news, right? Oakville massive assembly complex prepares for $1 billion retooling. Ford Motor Company has revealed that for the first time ever, a Lincoln branded vehicle assembled in China will be sold in the American market. Oh, we flipped that script, boy. Back in 2018, they moved 80,000 units out. Now they're moving units in. What's going on with that, Ford Motor Company? Wow, that's a weird plot twist. I did not have that on my 2023 bingo card. That vehicle, it's being referred to now. This is a report from City News Everywhere in Toronto, and they're going to refer to the that Lincoln branded vehicle assembled in China as that vehicle, the Lincoln Nautilus, until now has been built here at the sprawling plant in Oakville and shipped to the United States. So apparently, yeah, built in Canada. I've had Canadian built Fords before. Ford revealed the plan just days after announcing a $1.8 billion investment to transform Oakville assembly into a state-of-the-art electric vehicle and battery plant. So wait a minute. The Lincoln Nautilus, is that a gas? Is that a petroleum vehicle? What is that? This brings me to another topic. In the middle of this, I'm going to come back to this, but I'm just going to say there's something else going on here too, which is, as a kid who grew up on Detroit's riverfront, right? Detroit was very industrial, like heavily, especially, when we had, especially through World War II, like Detroit was an industrial mecca. And I can't believe that some of Detroit's manufacturing prowess of the day actually didn't suffer any kind of attack, like a Pearl Harbor type thing, or an infiltration, or dirty bombs, or anything like that. Like our manufacturing base in this country in the 40s and the in the late 30s was so well protected, and through it's something else. So all that manufacturing that we had along Detroit's waterfront caused a lot of pollution, right? It caused a lot of pollution. It was pretty evident, especially growing up through the last end of that heavy industrial age, and what changed it was the global economy. Clinton opened us up in a big way to that, and a lot of manufacturing left Michigan. Right? Like these inland waterways were huge in manufacturing. Detroit was a manufacturing powerhouse. My parents traveled across the country to come here and work. Right? And that's how I wound up living in the shittiest weather conditions for 6 months out of the year. Don't ask. That making, that fabricating, that steel factory, that aluminum factory, all these forges and all these industrial things that built and provided the iron to build the motors in the Motor City was the whole process, all that stuff, not environmentally friendly. So what happened? What did we do? Ultimately what we did was we traded in our instead of developing cleaner ways to getting the same process like other places have. Actually, how much cleaner ways are there? Because I guess my point is, all the manufacturing left America. We got our water back. The Detroit River is prettier than it's been in the longest time, but that's only been since China's became the world's maker. And I realize in that that's what happened. We sacrificed our manufacturing prowess for the environmental impact, which was positive. Okay, I'm going to tell you firsthand, the environmental impact to me, growing up on a riverfront, was absolutely obvious, especially over time, right? I mean, come on, if you ever hung out by Zug Island in the Metro Detroit area then, and you hang out down there now, and if you can take a boat through the Detroit River then and take a boat through the like pre-Boblo Island, right? And post-Boblo Island, it's an obvious difference for anybody who's been there their whole life. I'll tell you that. But we lost all that manufacturing, and it went to China. And I think the Red Country's seen an excellent opportunity there to make us dependent like little children. Keep the just get control of the and that's the key. That's the operative word there, control, isn't it? Yeah. So since all that heavy manufacturing left, China's just been feeding us all this Walmart dollar store giant stuff. All the Family Generals and Haladala. Right. Yeah. So that's been the war we've been at with China, and we granted, and we could have done something different, and hindsight is always perfect. But that's what happened. And that's kind of why Ford is on the track that they're at, because of all those things in the past kind of conditioned today's response. And I'm going to tell you, that's what I see going on with with today's with today's society, is that there seems to be this overcompensation. Like we're in some kind of societal swerve, right? Going left, going right, the road is icy, and when I think about that from a society perspective, and I look at it from a business perspective of what Ford Motor Company is doing now, I just see this fishtail of a company and an economy. We go from shipping 80,000 units out just from Ford 3-4 years ago to now shipping units in such a short period of time. That's not an economic swerve. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but I mean, I think that's going to be pretty telltale Let me try and say that again. Telltale. Can be kind of telltale. It's telltale. Okay. Of what's in store for the rest of this economy and how all these other companies that really have the thumb on America, thumb on the pulse, the heartbeat, the financial institutions, the manufacturing base, political influence, just to name a few things that are, you know, not normally talked about when it comes to companies like Ford Motor Company and the money that they have that that entices people with the thrill of power or perceived power. Anyways, money only works for people when they have power. They feel they have power, and it's only because people agree to that. They say, yeah, you got power because you got money and I want it. I want your money, so you got power over me. No. See, personally, I'm like, you can keep the money. And I think that's where a lot of people are at, especially a lot of people that work for companies like Ford. When I was young, I thought working for Ford was the shiz, right? I thought guys got in there $17, $18, $20 an hour to start once you got your 90 and you were all set, right? Today, I don't think it's like that, man. If you work for the big three anywhere here in the Metro Detroit area, why don't you give me a call? Let's talk about that. Let's talk about how it is today. Let's talk about, what's going on good there. What do you see positive, in your job with any of the big three here in Detroit? I think are they taking care of you? Are they taking care of your community? How's your family? Because that's another sense I get from corporate America today is they don't give a shit about your family. And the more I look around, man, I'm going to tell you with what's going on at the border, 85,000 missing kids, what's going on with gender dysphoria, up, I want to say what was I reading? 16, 18% in the past year and a half, 2 years, something like that. My heart breaks. I'm a feel my heart breaks for my country. We fight, the fight, the fight. All these things keeping us, divided. But if you see these companies out here supporting families and supporting your communities, man, that's really where the give back is at, isn't it? Right? I mean, I think we need to talk about those things. We need to make light of those things because, these big companies, honestly, man, they've left themselves open for a world of criticism, especially the more, the hypocritic corporations that are gonna look, and back to Ford Motor Company. Okay, let me just throw this out there as far as these hypocrite corporations, right? Like Ford Motor Company is not perfect by any means. Their vehicles are good made American vehicles, just like GM and Chrysler. Okay, they're the 1, 2, and 3 in there somewhere. But Ford didn't take the bailout, and why is that? For the same reason that they're making cars in China. I mean, if you're a business owner, how are you going to look at that? And then on the backside of that, okay, Ford, here we are. Oh, everything. If you look at all this shit on TikTok, we're going to go to war with China. They're massing troops on the border in Canada, and Trudeau is just a traitor. Trudeau is not a real Frenchman. I'll tell you that, right? I'm sorry. When I look at what's going on in France, you cannot expect me to believe for 1 second that Trudeau is a real Frenchman. If that was the case, he'd be hitting himself over the head with a hammer. Trudeau is not a Frenchman. He's a cuck. He's bought and paid for. Oh yeah, by these new world globalists, man. And if that ain't obvious, if that's not obvious, I don't know what's going to take to make it obvious. I mean, hey, get in the bread line, right? Is that what you're going to do? Get in the bread line. You're going to be okay with that, though. But at some point, I might even be okay with getting the bread line because having all these, having things and wanting things is just all these stupid desires. It's just when I look at how it's going here, it's like it's why would I want these ridiculous burdens anymore? I guess if I didn't have time to waste in my free time, I would, I'd rather do something than nothing. But at the same time, it's like, I look at it as from a perspective of shepherding what you have. Yeah. Take it how you want. Shepherding what you have. Taking care of your flock. Taking care of your everything that you claim to be yours. Right. I know I do that. I can only hope that these big companies that reap these huge profits, I mean, posting quarterly billions, well, not billions, but millions and lots of them, okay, should be giving back. But nope, instead of taxpayers, you know what we do? You know what we do for the big three and every other car manufacturer for that fact is we build the roads for them so we can use their products on these roads that we provide ourselves to use their products on. But you don't see them putting in when it's time to get shit fixed, do you? Fix the damn roads. Michigan's battle cry. We're still crying it over here, and the state flowers are everywhere in springtime. Oh, it's so pretty. You can see the state flowers. Yeah, more commonly referred to as I can't stand these damn things. Orange barrels. You know what I'm talking about, especially if you live in Michigan. Right. God, if you're listening, man, give me a call. 313-334-3402. Coming up on the 40-minute mark with Your Voice Talk Show. Me and my man, Bra. Bra, say hi.
Bruh.
Ah, there he is. Hope you can hear me. That's Bra. So many things going on, even in the Metro Detroit area. Let's get back there. You know, going over these Detroit headlines again, you know, I have to think of the whole medical malpractice, the car deaths, the gun deaths. Like, that's the base news here in Detroit, right? If it's not some crooked pharmacy or some car accident or police chase or some ridiculous he said, she said relationship gonna rise into D's. There's some bad relationships in the D's, and they be killing them. All right, let's see what the Detroit Free Press has to say. Hold on. I'm getting there. Be patient. I'm a producer and your host, Alejandro, on the Your Voice Talk Show. If you're listening, give me a call, 313-334-4203. We're going to go check out the Detroit Free Press today. Going to go over that. We just covered some Detroit news headlines. The majority of that stuff in Detroit local was, of course, burning bodies in cars, multiple shootings, multiple threats, people shot, officer down, medic, and pretty much qualified why Detroit wound up in, the top 3 of homicidal cities amongst ourselves. We're out here killing ourselves, man. We really are. That's exactly what we're doing. So let me give you a little shot of the moon here. Look at that. I don't know if the Earth is really round. I like to think it is, though. You know, I kind of grew up on the Earth is round. I don't know if I want to change that now, because even if I did, would it matter? Would it even matter? I can't say that it would. So DetroitFreePress.com. We're gonna go check it out right now. Let me click and click. Now this is the brother publication or sister publication. I don't know who's the brother, who's the sister anymore. You know what? What am I doing? Listen to me. I'm trying to apply gender to a friggin' local paper. They both come out of the same building. But it's meant to be divisive. Absolutely. Red team, blue team. Detroit Free Press is blue team. Detroit News is red team. We're going to cover them both. But I'm not going to the marketplace because there ain't shit. Have you seen the wanted ads in the paper these days for jobs? Like, everything's IT. I kind of feel cheated. I don't know. I play with wires for a living, and other things. Half the time I'm playing with myself out there, though. Let's cover the Free Press stories. Oh, yeah. So they're going. They're going to open up with the driver dead after crashing into a smart bus. That's the Southfield Freeway. And then just under that, there's a good shot of warmer weather coming to the Detroit area that could stick around. No shit. It's May, Michigan. What is going on with you, man? Good heavens. It is expected to warm up the next week in the Metro Detroit area. But then again, we've all heard that before, right? I got called by some dude from Florida, right? Some guy from Florida. I spent a couple days working with right here in Grand Rapids area, Michigan. We're on the roof. It's January. It's like I don't know, 55 degrees out, right? And the sun is shining, and we know how that is here, right? You can't fool us with that, because you give us sunshine for 2 minutes, and we know it's just going to go away. Anyways, I gave this dude from Florida the Michigan cliche. Give it 5 minutes, it'll change, right? What do you call me, negative Nancy? Call me negative Nancy. I was laughing my ass off. I'm like, dude, okay, you're from Florida, but you're gonna come up here to Michigan and tell me, that I'm negative on enjoying 2 minutes of warm weather because I know very damn well it's gonna change. But yeah. Then again, I've heard that before. So from the mid 40s to the low 70s, Metro Detroit's gonna see a steady rise in temperatures. It's expected to warm up in the next week in Metro Detroit. But then again, yeah, we've all heard that before. Today's going to be the first day of its. Today's going to be the first day of its warmer. You're like, it's warmer. No. It's like it's. Look, we're at May 3rd. It's like October out there, right? I'm ready to go deep fry a turkey. Kind of cold weather, right? We're getting freezing rain and drizzle, and we're getting wind. It's gray out. Thank God we're not in Seattle because this weather. Maybe that's why everybody in Washington's so nuts in the Portland area. They all smell like corn. Today's going to be the first day of the warmer weather. It's gonna not be significantly warmer than yesterday, but it looks like yesterday's highs were only in the mid 40s. Today, our current forecast has in the mid 50s, which it didn't. It felt like the mid 50s. I was out there for a little bit today. It wasn't so bad. It wasn't as bad as yesterday because we didn't have the wind. However, Thursday said we could break 60. That's tomorrow. Not by much though, but you know what? 60 is better than 40. And I'm going to tell you, that's a huge swing for somebody that's outside all day long, right? And let me tell you, after this past 6 months of Michigan weather, I am more than happy to be sitting here in front of you in my underwear, but with my slippers on. Don't laugh at me. That's not funny. I am in my underwear. No matter how many pairs of pants I got on, I'm still in my underwear. I'm just saying. I'm getting some looks from the peanut gallery. Yeah, Studio 8 has a peanut gallery in the Your Voice talk show. Look. I was going to show us the weather, man. Didn't work out too well, though. I don't know. Why is that? Here it is. Here's our weather map. Oh, because they want to show us a bunch of other stuff. There you go. Look at that. Michigan's in the red zone. Finally. I can't wait. I'm ready. Nope, it's right here. Yeah, so that's what the weather's going to be looking like here in the next few days. Anyway, so let me get that back over here. What am I doing? I'm trying to produce. I'm here all by myself today on a Wednesday. Gonna get some time in talking to everybody. So yeah, there's the weather warm up, and so hey, check this out. Michigan sword fighting competition highlights historical European martial arts. I didn't know that was going on. That sounds like fun. Where's that at? I didn't know that. Fencing tournament comes to Plymouth this weekend. That'll be some good entertainment if you're sophisticated enough to enjoy a good fencing display. However, these look like Viking swords. You want to call that fencing? I guess if you're a real man, right? Real man of fencing. Popular films and TV series such as Lord of the Rings, Game of the Thrones. Yeah, I said Game of the Thrones. And House of the Dragon. You had to have a "the" in there, right? We got Lord of the Rings, Game of the Thrones, and House of the Dragon. All have something in common, and that grabs the attention of the viewers. You know what that is? Swords. Swords. Crossing swords in the bedroom. Swords. The clashing of swords against one another adds suspense as beloved or infamous characters engage in life and death battles on screen. For many at ARS Galaldi, a school in Garden City specializing in historical European martial arts. Interesting. I never knew that about Garden City. Had spent a little bit of time there myself, but I paid my dues to society, so now I'm out. Those scenes are what sparked their interest in learning the sport. Catherine Keller, a 27-year-old HEMA competitor, said she originally started fencing in college, 2014 around 2015. So she's got some years there, man. So she's probably pretty articulate in fencing. I know some guys who couldn't stretch fabric to save their lives, though. I actually started the sport fencing before, and then wanted it to be more like Lord of the Rings. She said, sword fighting comes with this air, right, of like fighting for your princess, and up around the castle, the spiral staircase, and it's got this air to it that's so I guess romantic in a sense, right? Like sword fighting can be romantic. I get it. You know. Uh, Soon, competitors will be able to put their HEMA skills to the test with the return of the AG Open tournament held Friday through Sunday in Plymouth. That sounds amazing. The event will feature various competitors, workshops, and lectures. Huh. I've never been to a sword fighting lecture. I can only imagine what that would sound like. I mean, like, like, how do you, I know, I probably should just stop. I can imagine it would be a lot of fun. Or a sword fighting workshop. Is there where you go in and build your own sword? The AG Open, returning for its second year at the park, PARC, will have 5 tournament events, including long sword relay, long sword competition, women's long sword, messier competition, and long sword cutting. Hassan Chop. So what are these guys going to be doing out there in Plymouth? Chopping the rock? Speaking of rock, Plymouth Rock. Speaking of climate change, let me just bring this in here about chopping the rock, right? The original OG Plymouth Rock is still at sea level. Go look for yourself. Okay, I don't want to hear it. Just go look for yourself. Anyways, it's nice to hear that there's some sword fighting going on. That sounds like a very cultured event, and I'm not talking petri dish, but it sounds like something I would like to go see if I had the time. I got so many things going on, though. Making plans for you to be here with you. And for you to be here because I want to hear your voice. Still waiting for somebody to call me and talk to me tonight. 313-334-4203. Give me a buzz. Let's do this. Coming up on the 50-minute mark. Wednesday night. It's open. Still waiting for that phone call. Going over the local news. Comparing the free press to the Detroit News. After work today, just a lot of ridiculousness going on here, So we just covered the weather from the Free Press, some sword fighting in Plymouth, which is awesome. So also some students expelled for firearm or offense in Detroit. Requests to return. So we got kids in Detroit bringing guns to school. This is a story of that. Right here in my number 3 ranked homicidal city in the country, Detroit, Michigan. Born and raised myself. I guess I don't know, man. I mean, yeah, I'd probably go through Chicago feeling at home. I don't even know, man. Like from a Detroit perspective, Chicago seems like a rough place to be, man. I don't want to be there. A Detroit student expelled after officials found a gun in the student's backpack. How cliche. How does a student get a gun? How does a student put it in the... Mom! Dad left his gun lying around again, trying to return to the school district after a year away. Okay? This kid's trying to come back, or his parents want him back, or maybe they don't want to homeschool him. I don't know what's going on. But school officials appear poised to deny the request. Right? This kid was expelled a year ago, and he's trying to get back in now, and they're ready to say no. The Detroit Public School Community District's board will consider the former student's parents' request to reinstate their child. Also, the parents are pushing to get this kid back in school. They reinstate their child at a meeting on Wednesday evening at Renaissance High School, which is tonight. This request is the first reinstatement request made by a parent or guardian after a student expulsion to come before the board. Since at least 2017, according to the school. So the Detroit Community School District's board apparently is not only poised to say no, but has previous experience in dealing with these particular situations, right? Maybe that's why they're poised to say no. For the same reason that some offenders in some particular crimes are also not rehabilitatable. You can't you can't fix them. They're unfixable. And that might be their poison. Maybe there's a history there I don't know anything about. I can understand the parents at least wanting to get the kid back in school, though. And this is the K-8 student referred to as TT in school board documents. Was found with a handgun in their backpack at 27-22, the last day of school year. Oh, my God, the last day. The offense qualified the student to be permanently expelled under state law. So I don't know what his parents were doing to trying to get this kid K through 8, though. I mean, think about that age group. What is anybody doing about how this kid got the gun? You know, and this brings me to something else too. Like this story. All right. Let me get through here a little bit more. Let me read some more here. Permanently expelled under the law. Crystal Wilson, a spokeswoman for the district, wrote in an email response to reporters' questions that the board will address the issue Wednesday evening. That's tonight. So there's more to be had here. A district reinstatement committee has recommended that the board vote against the student's reinstatement. Now, generally we know these boards, one, are not comprised of the brightest people. However, they tend to do some research, right? Like there's with this K through 8 student, I guarantee you there's a file folder. This will go down on your permanent record following him around. And this may be very well why they're like, no. The board meeting was open to the public. It begins at 5:30 and has been on for a little while. It's probably over at this point at Renaissance High School in Detroit. Quick little bit here about how expulsions impact students. During the 21-22 school years, Detroit Public Schools District expelled 11 out of about 50,000 students, which is, all things considered, probably should have been higher, according to the state data. For incidents where firearms related statewide, 1,251 students were expelled. Wait a minute. Hold on. We're gonna go to camera 4 here. Let me give you a shot of 3. Hold on. Let me get the mic out of here. We got a brand new studio here today. We got a little bit of investment to bring this to you. I just want to let you guys know. You can see where I'm working from. In-home studio. That's right. I feel like Tucker Carlson today. I feel like a lot of other people who are moving away from mainstream media. I was never involved with mainstream media, but even if I'm just a trickle stream media, I'm going to do my share to call BS where I see it, because I ain't taking no for an answer, and you can't scare me in any way. You can't scare me, so I got nothing left to lose. I'm going to speak my mind, protected by the First Amendment. Let me get this over here, right? I want to drag this over where you guys can see it to my other screen. You can see what's going on there in camera 3, camera 1, camera 2, camera 1, camera 2. Let me bring this up. Here we go. Goodbye 3. Hello. Let me get a full screen here. See if I can get this up in here better so we can all see it. 4 incidents were firearm related. Statewide, though, in the state of Michigan, 1,251 students were expelled. More than 200 of those incidents were firearm offenses, while the majority of the offenses that qualified students for expulsion were categorized as other. And that's probably because the other may have been actually more violent than bringing the gun to school, which that's so bad. How do you as a child even begin, even K through 8, okay? How do you not know? How do you not know? That's not good. How old are you in 8th grade? What are you like? 9, 10, 11, 13, 14, maybe 12 to 14, something like that in 8th grade. How do you not know, even at 8th grade level, that putting a handgun in your backpack and making your way to school with it is probably a bad idea? I mean, it's a gun. I don't think you're going to, as a 14-year-old, really have much of a reason to kill anybody between the time you walk out the door for school and then you get home, or you take a bus, or what happens. I mean, the people that you're running into on your trip to school and your day should not be anybody that you're afraid of. And if at 14 or 12 or 5 or 16 or 17 or 20, maybe you should talk to somebody else if you have a problem where you think you got to tote a gun around and be prepared to kill somebody potentially. You're already in a bad mindset. right? I mean, yeah, you might be carrying this gun and thinking it's for protection, but you're also thinking you could kill somebody if you had to. But at the same time, I don't want to be a victim. I don't want to be a victim. I don't want to be a victim by by any agency at any level or any of my friends, families, or neighbors, right? However, at the same time, there's got to be something reasonable that behind all of that. Man, if you're a little kid taking a gun to school, I mean, there's some really wrong things going on at your house, right? If you think as a small kid, if this is okay, you're either like just like an absent parent who leaves it up to the TV to raise your kid, or some anime video that they just love. I mean, what's going on here? Where these children that are right around the 10-year age mark are thinking it's okay to wind up with a gun in school. And then how do they not know that there's such a negative impact? You know why? I will tell you right now. And this is where I'm going to demand some accountability, because the parents are fucking it up. And I'll be the first to admit, I was not a great parent. However, I don't think my kids are out there making other people suffer. I don't think my kids are out there putting guns in their backpacks, right? And we got an incoming call here. Hey, let's take it. What we got here? Hello, caller.
Yeah, what's going on?
Hey, Brian, how you doing? You're on the Your Voice Talk Show. Thanks for calling. What's going on?
Oh, well, I was just listening to you, man, and you were talking about 13-year-olds and guns, and
yeah, it's a big issue around here, man. It's so it's up front in the news on a local level. I don't know if you caught anything about me going through the Detroit news and all the gun related, auto related, and crossover issues going on in Detroit there just from today and last night. Like the front page is filled with them, and this seems to be a typical story across the nation.
yeah, when you went to school, was there metal detectors?
No. When I went to school in Detroit,
and I carried a knife, and everybody carried a knife, men, anyways.
yeah, I think.
And hang on, but I'm just saying, if I didn't like you, and we didn't agree with something, and we fought.
Yeah, we stood toe to toe. That's what our generation was about.
It's not, let's go find Dad's gun and kill me or kill someone.
No, not at all. Not at all. No, and I think, Brian, I think our generation, and I'm going to call it right now, Generation X, right? I realized something about growing up in the city and then having a wonderful life in the suburbs, and even as challenging as that can be sometimes when everybody thinks it's all glory. That growing up in the city, man, it's a whole different mindset what's going on out there, and the problem basically comes down to a lack of parenting. I mean, ultimately my point was there before you called was, how do you wind up at 10 years old thinking it's okay to even have possession? And I think that's because the parents aren't doing their job in this country anymore.
Got to think a little harder than you think you're thinking.
Well, what do you think, man? Talk to me.
I'm just in disarray. I don't know what to say and how to explain today's society.
I've come to the conclusion, when I look at what's going on here today, I come to this conclusion that we're in an overcorrective swerve in society, kind of like I explained it with Ford Motor Company, right? You know, and this is just kind of my opinion and my observation personally, you know, is the fact that I'm going to tell you the men that I grew up with, right? Um, were
Yeah, I'm hearing you.
the men I grew up with were pretty rough, man. When I was a kid, Papa was a Rolling Stone, right? And as me, yeah, and that's the truth. That's the truth. Papa, Dad
If
was a
you had
layout.
a dad,
Yeah,
if your father stuck around,
exactly. You know, and I grew up in a Detroit neighborhood where there was a bar in just about every corner through my neighborhood, not on the main streets, in the neighborhood, right? Um, so this was a big issue, man. Dads where I grew up were layouts. Wherever Papa hung his hat, that's where the hell the house was at. You know, wherever he laid his hat was his home. And when he died, all he left us was alone, you know? And so our generation as young men, we see these issues. We lived through them. We experienced them. We felt the negative impact of Papa being a Rolling Stone. And what did we do? We prevented our kids from being these Rolling Stones. We didn't want to be them, nor suffer them, or be those for anybody else either. You know, many of us only had see these Rolling Stone parents that we had, dude. They didn't have the real tools that we have today. They didn't have you know, they had to. Our parents had to go to encyclopedias if they wanted to learn anything, or a good friend. Today we got resources at our fingertips that are unmatched ever in history. You know, um,
it's unbelievable.
I'm sorry.
Well, I'm sorry. I'm trying to get you balanced out between my phone, my
Oh,
headphones.
yeah. That's a little bit of an audio trick, but you got some audio engineering in your background, so this should be doable.
Well, I'm sitting here in front of my laptop, which is, dude, you got a Dell, dude. Okay, no, I'm saying that's how old my computer is. Is when that commercial was out. Is when I bought this computer.
Right.
So it's kind of old.
Yeah. I got a Lenovo I'm running sound drops from that's like 6 years old, and the thing runs like a Chevette. Let me drop something for you. Tell me if you can hear it.
Come on, man.
Oh, come on,
Oh,
man.
Come on, man.
I swear I fired this computer up and it blew some dust out of the little fans in the back.
That sounds like me in the morning just before I pee. uh,
My phone's faster than this computer is.
Yeah, I hear you. That's why I had to upgrade, man. Let me tell you, I spent a lot of money getting this too. Here, Brian, let me give you a camera 3 perspective. You ready? Here we go. You can kind of see.
Do it again.
Yeah,
Do it.
yeah.
Do it.
Yeah. So it's a little bit of a delay there. So you can see now what I got going on here. And let me get up here and I'll try and point out what I got going here. Maybe I can bring the other camera and show you. But just got
My
this.
bird's bigger.
Hey, bigger isn't always better. Look how functional this one. At least I got all my inputs are maxed out. I like that, huh? My mixer is it's a pile, and I'm using a lot of pile equipment here, and it all sounds pretty good to me. Especially for what I got. I got a
God,
PMSU.
you're laying into a joke and you say that. You know that, right? Pile.
Yep. But this is the studio view. Here I've got my this is the number 4 view for you. So if I switch to that, which I'll go number 4 right here is my video controller. If you can see it, put my hand on it.
Very sweet.
Yeah, so I'll hit that, and then see that'll be what you guys see, and then I'll take us back to the room view, and then I got that corner camera set up as well too, but I haven't switched in and out of it tonight. And just to kind of, and then we'll bring back to my close up there. So, I got all that that whole thing set up there, ready to go. So a little bit of investment here for sure. But anyways, back to the topic. You know, the whole thing I believe, Brian, about what's going on here, and the only way to kind of explain this. Yeah. I know, right? It's topic and it's topical, however you want to use it. It also makes a great.
Unfortunate. It's too often in the news. I'm really getting sick of it, like everyone in the world is. I'm feeling really bad for the people that it really matters to, like the families that lost people.
You gotta be, and
So
I don't know if you caught my discussion earlier, though. I'm sorry to interrupt you, buddy. I don't mean to step on you, but it's pretty relevant
it's
because
all right.
see, I was going over some stats earlier, and that was the fact that we lose approximately, I want to say 50,000 people a year to, and I was even being gratuitous. I pumped it up to 52, even though I found some documentation that was a little bit lower. I gave it an extra 4,000 people a year. And I coupled that with auto deaths per year in America, right? And we're right about hovering the 100,000 mark. Okay, we got about 50,000 a year that die from gun deaths, about 50,000 a year that die from automotive deaths. But in the grand scheme, if we're going to pick a battle, I think the one that's really killing the most people and the one that hurts the most, and the people are losing a lot. See, like gun deaths, we lose a lot of children, but we don't lose as many. We got 680 people dying a day in the United States due to medical malpractice. That's 1.5 times the combined deaths of guns and cars. Men,
I
women,
know.
women, and children. You know, so
we can't. It's too late. I mean, I'm saying it's too late. Okay, one honest guy gets into wherever it takes to get into whatever it is to make a difference. One guy can't do it, and there's not going to be the second honest person because all the other dishonest people are going to pay somebody. I'm not saying murder. I'm just saying,
right.
I'm going to pay you to vote this way.
Right. So it's it's a catch-22. We can't win, can we?
Exactly. No, it's too late.
Yeah.
I'll sit back and watch and grumble to myself, and well, maybe I'm grumbling to you too. So
no, that's what I'm here for, man. I want you to grumble to me, you know, because we got to come together on this, dude. That's what this conversation is about. It's about getting us all on the same page. It's about identifying the common sense that we all want to have in these matters as a country and a community. You know what? That's why I'm having these conversations, because all of us need to be on the same page when it comes to protecting our children. And
that's my two favorite words. Common sense.
You know, yeah, it's awfully thin. I'm looking for it out here, man. And when I go through these headlines, you know, when I go through these headlines like I do, man, I'm just thinking to myself, like society has lost it. Like people, the reason, the logic, that we're not applying that. Most people can't even communicate at a reasonable level without blowing up. You know, people
don't want to drive anymore, and I don't get that. What if there's an emergency and there's a car with a set of keys in it? Like your family member owns it, but I don't know how to use it. So I'll call 911 and pray they get there in time. Come on.
We'll see.
What about the fact that they want to get rid of the A through F? You know, in schools, no more. You know, you got to B, you got to C. It's going to be, I don't know what it's going to be. I haven't quite understood what they want to do. I only understand that it's supposed to impact the children. That way they're not working for a grade. They're working to learn.
Oh, I've heard something.
Which I thought school was about anyway.
I you know what? I remember reading on something on that. Not too long ago.
It's being voted on quite quickly.
Yeah, and from what I remember,
I'm not upset about it. I just don't understand it. Who's getting paid to think of this shit and then actually taking our time and tax money to vote on it?
That's a good question. And these are closed group things that are happening, Brian. You know, like obviously,
there's more important things like roads. Police officers need a lot of help right now, I understand.
Yeah, there's a shortage in every department right now as far as like employment. Like nobody wants to go to work. And it kind of seems that way because I just heard
seriously look at the city. I mean, I like the city, but look what is going on in the city right now. And you want to go to work? I need a better suit.
You know something. That's for sure. But you know, all of these problems, I think a lot of these problems that we're seeing are social overswerve. We're overcorrecting on a lot of things, and that right now our ass is in another tailspin. And by the time it comes back, like it's going to be a long time before we get this car going straight down the road again. I got something here on the conversation about alternative grading. Let me see, when is this? For August 3rd, 2021. Though this article is from the Utopia. Yeah. But it's stuff they're voting on now. according to what you just told me. And so this is kind of it seems based in the whole getting to the point part of what they're voting on. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's just saying anxiety about grades has hit a new highs this spring and summer as many districts debate new grading policies and new outlets worry about the number of students who receive Fs during the pandemic. Because grades are more controversial than ever, it's more important than ever to make sure that what grades communicate to families and students aligns with the values of the educators. The values of the
Alex, like I said, I didn't understand what they were trying to change it to.
Right, yeah, that's what I'm trying to come to. And I remember there was
somebody, A through F means, your city or district. This is how you are performing for the year.
Right.
We're going to take all the grades of all your students, round it up or down, and there you go. This is what you got.
Right.
But now they want to change it to make what better?
Oh, they're not. I don't think, from what I just read, all they're trying to do is cure anxiety. Student anxiety.
Sorry,
it's like getting a trophy for showing up. That's basically what from what I just read from that 2021 article. That's basically what it is about the alternative grading system. What if we eliminate grades completely? There's 6 alternate grading systems. So apparently, I don't know if who was voting on this grading. Do you know?
Come on, does that mean if I finish school, I get a fucking trophy?
and a piece of paper. And a piece of paper. And a piece of paper. It's twice as good than you ever thought.
Oh, shut up.
Yeah. I mean, and not only that, if you get the trophy and you get the piece of paper, you get another trophy and tons of free debt.
Well, I'm trying not. I just don't understand it. I got to read up on it. I just heard that, and I just went, why? Why? There's better things to work on. Is what my whole point.
I would completely agree, my friend. I would completely agree. There are a lot of other better things to work on, and like I said,
go ahead.
They're just trying to massage emotions with that grading system is what it sounded like, because right away I read the whole thing is like the students are getting anxiety over getting Fs and things of that nature. So it just sounds like it's a way to bypass to bypass some damn.
I'm sorry, welcome to my life.
And
500 million other people's life. I mean, come on.
I totally agree. I'm
sorry. Geez, these fellows in middle school now, what the fuck? Is it nap time? Jeez. I mean, there's a lot of good people out there, kids, and I just don't understand the other ones. The ones that don't want to work. I don't get it. It's not everybody. I see a lot of hard workers out there.
There are a ton of hard workers out there, but you know what? There's something else going on with all these hard workers too. And I'm going to tell you right now, it's an experience I've had myself. Okay. And they're hearing people like me. Again, I'm going back to my generation. I'm going back to a generation that was able in most ways to maintain a lot of work ethic and a lot of personal standards in some ways, as far as making do with what you got and sometimes having.
I get it.
Okay. People like me who have annually facing not being able to collect Social Security. All right, or not much of it. Yeah. I'm retirement.
You're not that old.
No, well, I'm 54 this year, and I'm not that old. But by the time I do get old enough or in a position where I have to retire, guess what? I'm not going to be old enough. Just imagine what that.
Yes. Well, but my thing is we will both be old enough. But the fact is, the money we maybe if Social Security is still there, if we get any of it, it might, and I very highly doubt it, will cover the cost of the drugs I need to stay alive or to stay pain free or whatever, heart pressure or heart.
Right.
You know
It's
what I
not
mean?
enough. It's not
Blood
enough.
pressure.
Yep. And so you make a valid point
Enjoy
there.
life now.
Yeah, that's what I say. But you're making a valid point there, Brian, because there are a lot of people out here who had a promise of Social Security being enough, and it wasn't, and now we got a lot of seniors and elderly out here making the rough decisions on food and versus medical supplies. Um,
I'm lucky enough to have a 401k, and I'm looking at it going, that isn't gonna. I hope my house is paid off because it's not gonna cover anything. It
Right.
might cover my food and my bills. By the time I retire, I don't know, with the way the bills are going, gas is gonna be how much?
I'm really rich.
Or what? Who
right.
knows?
Yeah.
Not gasoline. I'm talking
I'm really rich.
just gas and water and electricity. How much will that be? By the time we retire.
Yeah, right. Because you can't get away from any of this without paying for it. And if your house if you can't pay your taxes on your home, you're going to lose that to who really owns it. And if you can't,
property tax.
yeah, you can't live without in a home by any building code standard without water, hot water, hot running water, electricity, and heat,
and sewage.
And sewage, proper sewage, correct.
Yeah.
Otherwise you can't live there. But which brings us to another part of where I'm going with this initial point, which was, why aren't people working today? Why are they being so lazy? And I don't know if they're being as lazy as they are finding different ways in this gig economy that we have to make a living and control their own money, make their own investments, plan their own futures, live their own lives, and tap a few keys to get the same results. I'd almost want to do it too. Because the promise of a 401k isn't there. You know how much money I lost in my 401k in the past 3 years? You know what I'm saying?
I don't even look at mine.
Who wants to put into that? I don't. And if you're going to work, you're putting into that. Who wants to put in? And I'm going to tell you, in all the I'm not going to single out any one particular government expenditure, right? That has cost the American taxpayer way more money than it ever should have to begin with. But I'm going to say that there's too much of that going on when it comes out of my paycheck, right? So that automatically, I can see that having an effect on people where they're thinking to myself, oh my God, my government is literally abusing people around the world with this tax money that I send to them through my paycheck. Like, I bet that's got.
Alex,
yes, sir.
I don't mean to cut you off, sir, and I know you're live and all that, but I got little dog looking at me, and he's going to make a mess if I don't get up and let him out.
Oh, nar. Well, you better get him outside, Brian. You better get him outside.
Hey, I'll give you a ring back. And good job on the sound. I'm glad I showed up at 8 because you were still working on it about 7:30.
Yeah, I was. I was. Dude, I did.
Isn't it great starting up?
It is, dude. And you know what? This is baby steps for me. I've spent a long time here. I spent an hour here talking to virtually nobody, and that's okay because in the conversations that I have here, it's like therapy because I get to sort some things out. I get to sort my own thoughts out. It's like journaling. If you've ever kept a journal, you realize you come to realize some of the things you're saying to yourself. It's like, why did I say that for? Why did I say that later?
Alex, over the internet, I swear to God, you said gerbling, and I was gonna look at you really weird. But journaling. Gotcha.
Gerbil learning.
Oh, geez. I'm sorry. All right, dude. Hey, man, it's good to hear from you. I'm good to call you. Anyway. I'll go to some classes and the internet out there for you. Get them called.
Okay, right. Hey, thanks for calling, man. It was good to talk to you, Brian. Hope to talk to you again and see you soon, buddy.
All right. Bye.
Oh, looks like we got another caller here. Somebody from Florida. How you doing? Go ahead. You're on the Your Voice Talk Show Live.
Actually, I'm from Michigan.
Oh, from Michigan. I got a 727. It says Florida.
Well, yeah, I grew up in Pontiac.
Oh, hey. I'm not too far from Pontiac myself. What's going on? What do you want to talk about?
So, well, the whole system. You said First Amendment, basically Second Amendment guns, and I have a third one, but the First Amendment is already being restricted. It's already been proven they've been controlling free speech across every platform of news media. They have the money to do that. The Second Amendment, they're trying still to try to consider certain weapons assault weapons because new laws always stop criminals. That's
Absolutely. We know
works.
that's proven in science. Yeah, that's proven in science.
Yeah. I mean, because it's a gun-free school zone, so there hasn't been any school shootings in the last
I've come to call
6
them
months at
school-free
least.
gun zones. Yeah, honestly, it just you know what? Just to step up the rhetorical sarcasm here, I've come to call them school-free gun zones. Out of
But
just
the funny,
yeah, go ahead.
yeah, but that's not the end of it. So the overall projection is for them to take control of you. So this is where the third element is, and the most important element that they bury in the news. First Republic Bank collapsed.
Correct.
So what did the FDIC do? They gave the assets to J.P. Morgan and Chase with a $50 billion line of credit, and they're going to cover all the losses of that bank.
Right.
Why? They're
Typical
consolidating. Yeah, they're moving money into their pockets.
Yep.
You look at the senators and stuff that pulled money out of that First Republic just before it collapsed, and then they put into J.P. Morgan. It's in an article I'll send you, but it's a Zero Hedge is a very good news organization, and they track data and stuff for financial data.
Yeah, and a lot of that is public info. I mean, that's how we were able to track Nancy Pelosi's ice cream expenditures on the stock market.
And if you believe the vaccine's good for you because the COVID-19 vaccine is good for you because the government is, then you're about as dumb as a box of rocks.
I'm going to agree with you on that topic. That's for sure. Absolutely. 100%. You are as dumb as a box of rocks. If you think, hi, I'm from the government, I'm here to help, is going to do you any good.
Well, let's say heroin is equal to marijuana, according to them. And I think people are smart enough to know that's not even the case. So why is it on the federal level equal to heroin? Because it's all about control. Not about what benefits you. They don't give a damn about you.
No, they don't. And here's just, I'm going to tell you, right? See, I'm sick of using pronouns for the government. You use a particular thing that's been getting on my nerves and become a pet peeve for me when I talk to people, the government, they're the OG pronoun people, man, because we've been calling them they, them for the longest time. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's such a disconnected perspective for me that I want to try I want to start calling these people out. Right. And that's my First Amendment right to do that, is to criticize these people that are employed by me, that function on the numbers that I crunch for the Federal Reserve in service of me and my community. Right. I want to demand some accountability. So calling these government agencies they, them to me is unacceptable. And I'm not coming down on you for that. But to me, I won't do it. You can refer to them however you like. I'm not saying that you have to refer to them in any particular manner.
I don't give a damn how you refer to me.
No, it's how you refer to the people that are operating these systems in the most screwed up manner. See, because that's another thing.
No, I know.
So I'm looking. When I hear they, it's not. I like to get some names in there, get some agencies in there, and get some names there so we can focus our attention to the root of the problem. See, because the one thing that in a lot of these conversations, and the one thing I realize about the news, right, is that it's all reactive. Right. We're all talking about what happened. We're all talking about, we're not talking about how to fix it. The conversations never seem to engage in a way where there's a solution. Right. I feel like I'm dating my government and they got all this drama going on. All they want to do is tell me about the drama. They don't want to hear how to fix it.
Oh, they don't care about you. They're just playing you. You're a pawn in their scheme. You're just money. When you were born, your birth certificate is a bond. And it's added to a cash value, and it is sold as to what on the open market.
Have you investigated the 3 stars of the DC flag and why DC has its own flag?
Well, it's no different than your money.
That money goes to the
It's a
crown,
debt
Bubba. We're
note.
owned by the
It's-
crown. Yep.
How many people know that money is actually a debt security? It's not even money. It's a debt. It's just because we have faith in it.
That's why
It's
we
got
had to get off the gold
there's a
standard. That's exactly why we had to get off the gold standard, because it's debt born. Like debt is what drives our entire economy. It's debt driven. It's the
Yeah.
reason money is printed.
There's nothing physical.
No,
And even if there is, the government thinks they own it. They own your car because you have to register it and pay taxes.
well,
They
you
own
know-
your house because you have to pay property taxes. They own you.
yeah.
Period.
Everything, dude. We're again, this is a corporation and we're the product. And I totally agree. And everything that happens in your life. And I think people just don't want to kind of realize that about their lives, because we've all been lied to, and the caller before you was asking me why everybody seems that they don't want to work and they seem so lazy. And the thing was like, dude, people, I think one of the motivating things there is people that want to pay into the system. And every time they go to work, they're paying into that system, and they'd rather just kind of sit back and get paid $600 a month for being homeless.
Well, it's just like real estate, the same thing. People are saying, I bought this house. Did you? Yeah, you bought the house, but you don't own it. Let's put it that way. You rent it because stop paying your property taxes and see what happens.
Yeah, you
They
more than
just-
rent it. You just, all you do is accept the responsibility for maintaining that property for the municipality, taking care of the upkeep, making sure it stays in good shape and upkeep, and crunch the numbers for the corporate municipality. Ultimately is what those property taxes are about. And of course, I mean, you can, let's think about the other side of this here for a second, right? Let's go, okay, what if we didn't pay property taxes? What if we left that up to everybody to decide to pay property taxes? Because you know what? What do we do about schools which run off property taxes? Does everybody in the state put in for our schools at that point, for our communities? How does that work? How do we pay for these things? And you know what I'm saying? Because there's this level of infrastructure here that has to exist, right? Like I was telling another caller, we pay to build the roads for the big three to drive their cars on. They don't pay for that stuff. They don't even pay for repairs. We handle all that, and we only drive their cars on it. It's kind of
So how do we how do we do that?
How do we subsidize
Well,
our infrastructure without property taxes? Because
Because we could stop sending $600 billion to Ukraine just recently.
well,
I
that's
believe
all
it
tax
was.
money, though. That's all
And
tax
how
money.
about stop bombing people with $1 million missiles in Syria and
Mhm.
Afghanistan? And
Yeah, I
how about
totally agree with all that.
why do we have billions and trillions of dollars in weapons going overseas? Why?
Well, those are political juxtaposing
Nah.
games. They're playing
The
leapfrog politically,
politics
man.
is
Yeah.
just a joke.
And again,
The Democrats and Republicans get behind
so
closed bars.
I'm glad you brought that up. I'm glad you brought that up, because see, here's the thing, right? All that is tax driven. If any American citizen out there wants to reclaim this country, right? The first thing we're going to do is stay home. Stay home. Don't buy gas. Don't buy groceries. Don't go to work, and don't do it for a week. Everybody stay home for a week. Shut it down. We don't even have to get into some big fight like France, right? Viva la France. I'll tell you, nobody throws a revolt like the French. God bless the French, right? Those people are amazing. That's why I say Trudeau is not French. If Trudeau was really a Frenchman, he'd be hitting him. He'd be clubbing himself with his own hammer. That's what he'd be doing if he was a real
Well,
Frenchman.
there's problems in England as well.
Yeah,
the
it's
UK,
global, dude. It's global.
it's a-
See, because they see there's a,
But
it's global. And for that reason is why I'm in front right here, right now, right? That's why I'm in front right now, because much like everybody else, like people got to stand up. And right now, this is the only way that I can do it without, in the most peaceful way. And that's to exercise my First Amendment right, is to vocalize these things I think are going on, so I can bring awareness, and so we can come to some conclusions, and so we can fix the root of the problems, right? Because see, again, back to these they them pronouns of the government, man. I want names, because I'll tell you what, 9 times out of 10, all this stuff starts on a municipal and a local level. Okay, this starts in the neighborhoods of America, and it starts in the people, in the hearts and mind of the people that start to run our government. How do you get to the
The
point
first,
as an American citizen to think that this degree of anything government um, is good in any level to this degree? I understand that infrastructure needs to be had. Law and order is a requirement. Excuse me. Look at me. I'm like down on my. Too bad. I feel like I'm just drinking carbonated coffee.
except if you're in government, then law and order is not
Well,
required because
here's the thing about
but
getting in government. Like there's been studies that show that when you give a person, even something as mundane as a bathroom key, that their empathy just drops. Right? Like when you give somebody power, they become less empathetic. It's just the state of human condition. I don't know why that is, but people seem to change when they think they have authority, because especially now, here's what happens in that change, right? So you give somebody authority and they are automatically realize that, hey, I'm responsible for this something or another. So they start to apply their personal beliefs in a more aggressive fashion, right? Whatever it is that they can relate in their belief system to what success looks like, or what they believe success to be, and how that all translates in how they lead, or the lack thereof, right? So this is why we're seeing so much of this. Like I'm gonna tell you, the White House press secretary, like I couldn't conscionably have that job. I couldn't look at you and tell you these things that there's just outstanding evidence contrary to what I'm telling you. I couldn't do it, you know. So really, all these problems I think we're experiencing in this country, dude, basically are Americans fucking Americans, right? And it starts at home. And that's, I think,
well, that but the sole core comes down to them wanting to divide us because if we unite as one, we wouldn't put up with this shit.
well, see, and then so
That,
you got to think then, what are we fighting? What are we
that
fighting? Not why, but
we're
what?
fighting black versus white, Mexican versus this, and trans versus
No,
gay,
dude,
and
those are all
it's
symptoms.
all that's
All the racism.
them.
Let me give you my opinion. I'm sorry, I don't mean to keep stepping on you here, buddy, but we're in some topics here, and I appreciate you calling. I can't tell you, I appreciate you calling so much, and this is great debate because people need to hear this, you know. But all the racism, I don't experience that when I'm out there, and I work all over Metro Detroit. I'm born and raised in Detroit. I can tell you, I grew up in one of the most ethnically and culturally rich neighborhoods the country has ever seen. Okay. Um, I don't see that racism, right? What I see though is all this stuff on the new. You wouldn't believe how many skin color oriented TikToks I see that I just can't bear it anymore. There's an obvious attack, okay, but racism is a symptom. All the gender dysphoria and transgender issues, and the whole spectrum of that. Believe me, there's a spectrum there. It's not just one. There's a whole facet of issues going on in that community right now that are just. I feel sorry for respectable gay and lesbian people. Right, I really feel sorry for them, man, because their community is being hijacked. Right, it's being hijacked with people that
That's
have.
what they're trying to do.
Well, they're trying, and I think that these genuine gay and lesbian people need to come together with everybody else, right? Like I'm willing to fight for this, for these real gay men and these real lesbian women. I'm willing to fight with them because much like the American family, their culture and their style and their way of life and their freedoms are under attack, and these people that are cloaking in the real LGBT community, right? These people that are cloaking are going to destroy your life. They're going to
Yeah,
destroy your
it just
community. They're going to make
it just
everybody.
saddens me when the national news they reported a story that a white male shot a black kid in the car. Wasn't even a white male. They just reported it for the news drama. They later corrected it on the fourth page of their
Yep.
news website.
Oh yeah, without even a
Isn't
public
that nice?
announcement of
They're
apology. Yeah,
trying to incite us to fight each other. I grew up in Pontiac.
let me.
I was
You
a
know what? You
minority
just
by
nailed it.
far, and I'm
You
white.
just nailed it. You just nailed it. You just nailed it for sure, man.
They're trying to incite problems. That's the problem. We should go in there and lynch them. Not really, but it certainly should get something done. Get them out of there somehow, some way. But I'm not sure there is a way because they're all selected. They ain't elected. I
I'm
don't care
gonna
what
say,
anybody says.
man, I've only got one
You'll
other
never
person.
change my opinion on that.
Well, you know what? I wouldn't want to change your opinion on that. I want to hear your opinion, though. That's what I want to do. Is I want to hear your opinion.
They're all selected. There hasn't been a president elected in years. There's a lady that died down the street from my mom. She was found in her head at her house dead after 6 years. Right in Pontiac, Michigan. You can look it up. Lady found dead 6 years. And she had voted in every state, federal, local election possible the whole time she was dead. So
yeah, there was a lot of that going on. And just a minute for station identification. Hey, are you looking to win an election? Are you looking to get ahead in a voting poll? Try Dominion. Dominion, guaranteed to make everyone want to vote for you. Dominion, it's in the name. Back to our regularly scheduled program. All right, caller, go ahead. We're back. You know,
but if you remember somebody famous, and I'll let you look it up because I already know. They said sometimes the republic means to be returned to the people and overthrown, and taken back by the people.
America's been hijacked. Flat out, I'm going to tell you, America's been hijacked. And here's why. Because America was under threat of another type of hijacking. So those who had the long-term plan for hijacking America had to move their plans up because of the other threats that were coming in quick and exponential, right? Like I'm going to tell you, there's potentially some assimilation programs going on in this country where cultures are developing and taking over the local politics. You know, and I don't know what to think about that. I just tell you that it's happening.
Well, see, it started a long time ago. If you look up the 1792 treaty of Paris, we basically why do you think the UK and the US have been friends ever since the Civil War? We do trade partners and everything. Look up that peace treaty. And basically, we gave the French and we gave the English right to many things. But I have to go because I got to run in the house and I got some other things to do.
Okay. Well, hey, thanks so much for your call. I really appreciate it. It was great talking to you. I hope to see you again. We'll be on again Sunday night on the Your Voice Talk Show, 313-334-4203. Call us anytime. So great topics with you tonight, caller. Thanks, and hope to talk to you again. Have a great night.
All right. We'll talk to you soon.
Take care. Bye.
Right.
Yeah. Touching a few things there. You know, somebody's got a lot of stuff they want to talk about. Had out of their mind, man. We crossed a lot of subjects on that call. And that's okay. That's what this is all about. You know, coming to some understanding. And as far as that whole LGBTQA plus, I don't want to leave anybody out, and I ain't hating, but you know, I don't want to see that community tore apart, right? And I think gay and lesbian people should have the right to live their life as gay and lesbian if they so choose. This is America, man. I'm not going to tell anybody, right? And I don't think anybody else should really have that right too. Like if you're not out here hurting people to some degree, I mean, I don't want to go libertarian because I'm not a libertarian. I'm also not a Democrat nor a Republican. I find myself standing in places that most people don't even consider most of the time, which is kind of an odd place to be because I feel like the odd man out when it comes to a lot of this crap. And that's why I'm kind of put myself in the middle between me, you, and everyone else. Like these people need to be able to live free, need to live without being ridiculed or belittled or made to feel like they're less than, you know, but they're being infiltrated. And I think there's a lot of sick people out here trying to do things like, I don't know, take over women's sports. What kind of person does that? What kind of person, let alone man? I mean, let me start off with this, okay? Only a man is going to be able to go into a woman's sport and dominate, okay? Yeah, you might have some people that are 10 seconds quicker than most other competitors, in a body on body sport. But when you got a man going to a woman's sport as trans, changes the game. You can't bring a male body into a woman's league and expect some kind of increase in the female anatomy to compete with the male anatomy that's already got advantages. I mean, we've heard some basketball stories about some 15-year-old kids beating a woman's professional team. Coming up on the hour and 3/4 mark. Alphabet people. Yep, we got some alphabet people. And I've known a lot of these alphabet people. I've got alphabet people friends. I listen to alphabet people music. Okay. Yeah. Let's say Freddie Mercury. Okay. I'll give you Freddie Mercury as example. Gay's a $3 bill, man. Hate me for saying it, but it's true. And he would have admitted it to you as well. Okay. Except for in his time, you had to be more closeted than you are today. And that's a good thing. These gay men need to be able to be gay men and recognize the fact that they're men, right? And that they're men who like men, and that's okay. Because I'm not going to tell you it's not okay, simply for the fact that homosexuality on all of its various levels predates the Bible. Oh, I'm going to get some haters for that probably, but it does. It predates the Bible. To me, the Bible seems like a response to homosexuality, which obviously it is. What kind of person does it take to go from being a potentially unsuccessful male athlete to willingly entering a woman's sport because you feel, man, I feel like a woman? I would play that, but I'd probably get my video knocked for copyright. Okay. I understand gender dysphoria is a real thing. Okay. I'm going to tell you that. Don't get me wrong. Gender dysphoria exists. It's real and it's dealt with by a lot of people on the daily. Okay. It's not a joke. I've done some research. I've done some reading. I've taken the time because I didn't want to be ignorant about it. Okay. That's the last thing I want to do. I'm going to tell you right now, I'm no professor of any discipline, right? And I'm probably the most feral kid that the 70s had to offer Michigan in this, you know what I mean? I got a lot of self-raising going on here. Okay. But I'm not going to let that stop me from not doing some research. I am not going to be willfully ignorant, and nor will I act that way. Period. So there's gender dysphoria is a real, tangible, treated, documented disease, and people suffer it a lot. Okay. Now, I think much like this country and our government, these things are being hijacked, and they're symptomatic of that hijack, right? That's why we can talk about the gun. We can talk about transgender issues and have it be so prominent, and they can attack our kids with it. And I'm going to tell you that they're going to attack our kids with it. And these drag kings are trying the same thing. I'll tell you something about people who are child rapists. Okay. They put themselves in places of access. I know this firsthand. Okay. Child rapists put themselves in places of access. Doesn't happen any other way. Okay. There's plenty of organizations and plenty of history that I can recite. Don't make me Google it. These people put themselves in places of access. So why is it so necessary to have a drag show, and a burlesque drag show? Not even real women. Real women do burlesque, right? Men dressed as women do drag. And damn, why would you want to do that? Why is it so important for you to do that in front of my kids or anybody else's for that matter? And on the other side of that's the parents. Yep. On the other side of that's the parents that would, I'm not going to tell you what's okay, but what's not okay. But man, I tell you what, you couldn't usually see that show unless you were 21 or over and able to drink. But now we're going to do this in a library. America's families are under attack. And another symptom of a deeper disease, right? Racism is a symptom of a deeper disease. Right? And the fact that we are at each other's throats over the dumbest things. Over the dumbest things. A lot of this is propaganda. I don't see the racism out here, but they're going to tell you it's out here. Okay? And I can tell, you can look at me and just assume that, oh, there's some white dude. There's some middle-aged white dude. Hey, white dude, you go count your money in your 401k, white dude? You'd be gravely mistaken. I don't see the racism, although, believe it or not, I have suffered it on many different levels in ways that would probably be very difficult for a lot of people to comprehend, okay? And that's why it's used so divisively, to keep us separated like the Great Sea, right? It's a symptom of a much deeper issue in this country, and it's not getting any better because these symptoms are getting out of control, and pretty soon each symptom's become its own disease, right? It's a distraction. And we need to come to some solutions on these issues. We need to stop being reactive. We need to stop talking about them in the way of they happened, but bring a perspective of how can we prevent, right? How can we prevent that? If you want to give me a call, 313-334-4203. Coming up on the 2-hour mark. This was pretty easy. I don't mind sitting here for a couple of hours, getting out, especially after a long day, Dr. Dre, a long day of kind of driving around the metro area in its entirety and really seeing what's going on out here, you know? Because I'll tell you what, I get around like on levels you can't imagine, especially in the Metro Detroit area. Like I'm everywhere all the time. All the time. And I see a lot of people being good to each other out here. I really do. I got my share of assholes, of course, in traffic. I mean, this is the Motor City, you know. We're going to get assholes, that's for sure. That's just the way it goes. Excuse me. But I can tell you something else about Detroit. Even though it ranked 3, as we started out with Q4 of 2022, Detroit was ranked number 3 in the being the third deadliest city in America. And my whole thing was I just kind of didn't feel it that way around here, or am I just numb to it? You know, I think it's a little bit of both. You know, I think I'm numb to it and kind of insulated from it in the way that I don't hang out with people who are most likely to have those kind of attitudes, beliefs. A person that's likely to have those ethics or lack thereof, or those kind of philosophies, or that gon' get got player mentality. I don't want to live with that. I don't participate in any of that. Right? I wear a belt. I work hard. Get up in the morning. I go to work. I do the best job I can at work, and then I come home and do this. Right? Amongst other things. You know, I ain't got time for that. Right? Because I stay busy being creative. I stay busy taking care of the things I have. I stay busy trying to love the people that are in my life and be respectful to them. Right? I ain't got time to be going to Chicago and visiting Walmart. You know, walking out with a bunch of free shit. So there's a lot of reasons why these things happen the way they do. A lot of them start at home, especially when it comes to education. I think that's something we're going to cover. That's a topic in itself that deserves, I think, a whole discussion. And I hope we can get some people involved in that, you know, and come to some conclusions there. Because when it comes to the education system today, there's a lot of things going on that I find it hard to accept and to settle on, you know, in the way that this is just like, you know, and for being as center as I am. Oh, hey, we got a caller coming in here. Who do we got? Hello, caller.
Mike here. First time, long time.
Hey, Mikey Mike. Thanks for calling. Mike's calling us.
What's up, buddy?
What's up, man? How's it going tonight? How are you doing out there in the Motor City?
Oh, you know, just bitching.
bitchin'. I love it, man. Little remembrance of the Drew and Mike days, which we all miss so much here in the Motor City area. That's for sure.
Oh, for real.
Yeah. So, what you calling for, buddy? What you want to talk about, man? What's on your mind? Let's find some solutions.
Not a much, man. I thought I'd just chime in, see how you're doing. I heard you're on the air. The voiceover sounds good with the callers, and
Yeah, we got.
Let's do a little bit of segments. And,
excellent. So we got good audio and video coming through. I take it, huh?
Yes, sir.
Awesome. Were you watching the live when I was showing one of our other callers the audio system, the new audio board?
Yeah. I saw it.
Yeah. Excellent. Yeah. So I'm glad to hear, man. We're getting music, we're getting phone calls, we're getting audio from the studio. Everything seems to be working like a champ now, thanks to the new mixing board. Boy, that solved a lot of issues, didn't it?
Sure did.
Yeah, nice. That's very nice. So the only thing I'm going to need to do here in the future is kind of double up on phone lines, maybe. And I'm hoping that's the case, honestly. We get to a point and anybody if you're out there watching, Jen, I don't know if you're still with us, but catch us on Sunday night. Mikey Mike and myself here, Alejandro, say it like you mean it. Gonna be going live and kind of going over the week on Sunday night at 6 p.m. and kind of covering the week's news. Mike's going to keep us up to date on some of the local sports, which we love to keep on because, we're from Detroit. Even though the Lions suck, we love them. We can't help it. We're committed that way. Yeah. Well, we're our sports town, man. We can't let our sports teams down, right? Even if they're that's what love is all about, right? When your favorite team is doing bad, you just go buy a baseball cap. You know what I'm saying? Go buy that football jersey. Go buy that Lions hand towel that hangs in the half bath, right? Give them a pick me up. It's like, hey guys, I understand. I know professional sports is tough, especially when you have these huge paychecks. But hey, let me help out. I'm gonna go buy a trinket. and
don't let the teenage boy borrow your hand towel. You might not want that back.
Oh, I'm just saying, take that back to your room there, kid. And I don't want to see it. I don't want to see it turn into something I have to stomp out of existence in 3 months. Crawling across. You know what happens to those cum socks when you find them under the bed after 9 years? They're fucking ready to file for child support.
You could fold them in the break.
You ever appeared on a court hearing for child support? The cum sock was a plaintiff.
No.
Me neither, but hey, I was just wondering if you knew. That's hilarious.
Detroit sports and current events. Quite the institution.
Yeah. I don't know if you caught us. We were going through the Detroit news. I did a little bit of a comparison from, I did a red and blue comparison on the Detroit News and Detroit Free Press. Unfortunately, both of them seem to be kind of loaded up with the same misery. Exactly the same reason why I just don't watch. I'm out of mainstream media, right? Like I would rather sit here all evening and take a couple of phone calls and have some meaningful conversations with people, and kind of put it out there about where I'm from and what's going on around me in my area, because I'll tell you what, dude, I look at the Detroit area and our sports teams aren't the best right now, but we got hope because we always come back, and that's Detroit. We're Detroit strong, and that means we stick together. And our sticking together means we don't have Kensington Street. We're not right. You kind of know what I'm talking about there, right? We don't have Kensington Street here, man. We might have some Kensington ass people, but we don't have Kensington Street. You feel me?
We got Woodward.
Yeah, we got Woodward in several different
communities. We got Grand River and West Grand and Woodward,
Mile, right. The Stripper
Michigan
Mile
Avenue.
Yeah, or it's the Green Mile now on 8 Mile. For those of you who are not aware, come on down to beautiful Wayne County, Michigan, and take the tour of the dispensaries down the Green Mile in Detroit. That's right, northwest and east. Well, Wayne County, Michigan, riding through Detroit is guaranteed to give you the dispensary dreams of your dreams. Wayne County.
Yeah, if you're looking to spend your green on some green, 8 Mile is the way to go.
Yep, 8 miles that way.
There is probably a good 10-mile stretch of it where there's probably one on every other corner.
It's all gentlemen's entertainment facilities and crabs.
You got titty bars. dispose and
yeah, right.
used car lots.
Bruh.
Used car lots seem to be
Oh yeah,
pretty
yeah,
used
yeah, yeah.
anyhow,
Those are
too.
yeah. Used car lots are a must. Like you can't have an 8 mile without having at least a half dozen car lots within the mile. You know, you just can't do
For
that.
sure, for sure.
You know, but yeah, and I just got this mixing board yesterday. Just got it hooked up last night. I was up till 1 o'clock in the morning making it work, or not making it
Oh,
work.
good God.
Yeah, just putting it all together. And the guy that was going to come over tonight canceled on me, which is okay. Yeah, yep, and that's okay, man. Well, I'll say I still had a good night, and I'll have him over some other time. Dude's a real American patriot. Another person that's getting sick of the rhetoric from the left and the right, especially the left. We've all been sick of that for a long time. I think even the left is getting sick of their own shit, right? I don't even know. However, you know, like the Republican Party, to me, man, when I look at them, they're kind of starting to fall apart, and I think a lot of people are realizing that they're just kind of just kind of exposing themselves here, like really, because you know they've been so relentless against the left end of the spectrum, that they're just kind of exposing. They're just, you know, they've become everything they've hated, and everything they stood for just really has gone out the window based on their demands for political vengeance or unity or caving or whatever the hell is going on. I don't even know. You know, but
You know, it would be nice to see, you know, somebody that isn't a leftist extremist or a rightist extremist, just somebody who's a centralist, you know, run this country and just see how shit works.
well, you know, that's supposed to have been the Libertarian Party, right? There's supposed to have been that center voice that would bring balance to the far left, or even just to the left and the right. Because again, you know, if you're left or if you're right, no matter which degree, you're still left or right. You feel me?
Yeah,
You're still one
true.
side of that line, right? You decided to cross the line. There's a lot of people that actually sit on that line, and they sit there because they want to take the best of the left and the best of the right and just kind of live their best life without all the
And there's
constraints.
nothing wrong with it.
Absolutely not, dude. And if anything, this is supposed to be the place in the world where you can do that because, you know, like, for instance, like the United States went to Ghana with $16 million and tried to get them to establish, under the guise of human rights, a bunch of LTBTGQ, you know,
A, B, C, D, E, F, G.
the alphabet. You know, they wanted to push under the cloak of human rights a lot of new rights that would change their laws as you know, as their own country, and they try to manipulate with that crap with money, you know. And it's just getting to be to the point where you know, it's affected everybody, and this guy is kind of you know, a little more not so far side, you know, right, but I don't think I think he's coming to the center. This guy that was going to come and interview with me tonight, a local guy here, a local fellow by the name of Greg, a really nice guy. He's had quite a life here, and built quite a life here, and really fought to make things the comfortable for himself, and to, you know, kind of be the man that he is today. So I take to heart a lot of the comments and a lot of the thought that he's going to have, you know, because this guy's definitely got, you know, he's my age, he's got a lot of life experience, and none of it handed to him, although he'll probably tell you some of it's been handed to him. But at the same time, you kind of give these life experiences to yourself through the decisions that you wind up making, you know. And I don't know if I want to claim or even say that anybody should say that they're guilty, because it's just moving through life. But
There's nothing wrong with a little health these days.
hey, man, you know what? I'm gonna tell you, like, you know, I don't understand. There's a couple things, dude, I don't understand in this world today, and one is that, like, for instance, you know, like some things you wouldn't logically, or you wouldn't think, they seem so right when you think about them initially, right? Like, say, you know, would you wish for world peace? You know, Mike, and I'm asking you directly, Mike Kohler, would you wish for world peace if given the opportunity?
Absolutely.
Okay. See, so in order for there to be world peace or peace on earth, even, right, it could potentially mean, let's remember how things went with the rubbed lamp and the genie. It could potentially mean the end of mankind altogether, because everything else doesn't seem to have a issue living in harmony as As vulgar as that may seem to something as refined as a human, eating each other is just so vile. That's harmony. What we've introduced is not. So I've kind of thought about the logic that lies within things like is so simple that you would think would be so simple and helpful. By wishing for peace on earth or wishing for peace amongst men might very well mean the end of men. So I kind of throw the spin on it now where I like given the opportunity. I won't know. I don't think I'd wish for peace. I think where I'd go is harmony. Wish for harmony amongst all living things. To try and encompass, divert the potential kickback. And even then, I think I'm missing something. I might just give them the chance to wish for world peace, or if I would, I might just keep my mouth shut and just keep going about my day. You know what? I might
unfortunate. Unfortunately, with mankind, we love this thing called war.
We do. And here's the thing about the gun argument versus the medical thing. And it's just a choice. It's a political, see, the whole gun debate to me is a political stunt because there's not enough people dying. There's not. And I'm going to tell you that right now. And that's going to hurt some ass. I don't care. There's not enough people dying in the gun debate because there's just as many people dying in car crashes every year.
And medical malpractice.
Right. So why are we going after these gun deaths that accumulate to an average about 1,000 per state per year, which is also it's kind of it's a symptom of a much larger issue. It's a distraction is what it is. The debate is a distraction. And there's a lot of social media propagandists out there pushing these distractions, right? To the level of like,
absolutely.
Yeah. And I think it's even gotten to the point where some people are even doing this on their own, and entities could be like, well, goddamn, are they on the payroll? Are they working for us? I don't know. Investigate this person, because of the way just people are. So they perpetuate a lot of this stuff, man, especially when they're like, oh, yeah, that's right. When you see a lot of these TikTok videos and stuff, and that's the one thing I see that about TikTok that I don't appreciate. Right. I'm not going to tell you TikTok is any more threat than Facebook. I probably would say the difference, right? Because TikTok has provided some decent stuff for me, man. There's been some things that I've needed out of TikTok and I was able to get, right? It's been very useful and functional. I would say that the level in a different manner, but probably the level of functionality for me there was equivalent to that of YouTube. I could find some things I needed on different subjects on TikTok that I wouldn't find so accessibly or so informatively on YouTube, because just the type of person that uses TikTok is different from the type of person that uses YouTube, right? So that automatically is going to give you're going to cross a line in creativity and find the differences, and you'll find the usefulness between the two once you realize how they work, how they are, what type of posts you're going to get in certain places, But I see now I don't forget where I was going at that point in TikTok, because I've had so much fun on TikTok. But there's a lot of I think there's a lot of propagandists on TikTok, right? Because see, here's the thing about TikTok is open to anybody. Anybody can make an account. Why wouldn't the CIA?
Yeah, this is true.
Why wouldn't the FBI? Why wouldn't some other organization in some other place around the world employ a bunch of American-looking, American-speaking people to push narrative?
Propaganda has been going on since the beginning of time.
Exactly. So to me, and so when people want to say they want to ban TikTok, here's the fear I got. I don't think my friends and family and neighbors are using TikTok as some propaganda machine. I think the government's using it as a propaganda machine.
Sure.
And from a citizen's perspective, this is potential danger. Yeah, maybe we should ban TikTok. Maybe we should just get rid of YouTube too. How about that? That?
There goes the show, bud.
Oh no, man, dude! I'll get out on the corner, man. I'll get out on the corner, dude. I'll get out on the corner. I'll just use flashcards for people when they drive by. Like 2 + 2 = 4. You know what I'm saying? So it has. Hi, Jen. It has the potential to be used as something to hurt us too in that regard. But then again, look what Facebook has done.
If there's any bullhorn that's louder than the human voice, it's been used as propaganda.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. And Facebook is the same way through
You know,
controlling
think
COVID
about it. You know, when
information.
the advent of radio happened and it was popularized, you know, they had the government on there. They were doing shows.
Right.
You know,
Right.
TV came along, and next thing you know, propaganda was there too. Of course.
Yeah, and now and the thing about it is that you know, I think I think here's what I think. I think America is being pushed to attack itself internally. I think the people that are operating this government of ours are hoping that the dystopian vibe of this existence in this country at this point is so intense that they just they have the hive turn on itself.
You mean like we're all vetted against each other? No
Yes.
way.
Yeah. But they're trying, see, because they
Hard to
can't.
believe, dude. Hard to believe.
Well, I mean, it's just no. Yeah, I know it is hard to believe. Hey, just call me a spoiler alertist, right? I'm a spoiler alertist.
Right,
I know.
right.
I'm probably a wacko. Most 9 out of 10 people just probably call me a wacko. But you know what? I'm going to tell you about something about having your head in the game. Okay, like if you're an overthinker, okay, you're going to think about the worst case scenario and try to be prepared for that. Right? Certain things are going to make sense to you when you play this out. When you reverse engineer the potentials and start and end up at the beginning, right? When you come to the backside of this bad result, when you can play from a certain point and work backwards and then make that prediction all over again clarified, right? Like you're going to have some questions and you're going to want to be ready for some things, you know?
Yeah.
And especially when, like there's a lot of people out here because I've done a little bit of research and some reading up and some investigation on some subjects, and one of them has been and because it's been so prominent in the social media platforms over the past few years is narcissism. Right now, I'm not taking everything that I see in social media as a fact or anything like that in narcissism, although there are a lot of people out there conveying facts. But it's up to me to decipher what's right and what's wrong. And the only way to do that is to get to some certified sources on the matter, to kind of do some reading, to read some literal publications and some submitted papers by people who actually do the ology part, the ologists involved in the sciences is,
Geologist.
yeah, exactly. You read in, you get a little bit of, you don't need to get a whole lot, to have an informed opinion. You don't have to be a scholar by any means, but you do have to spend a few minutes kind of looking into it willfully, and that's part of the responsibility of coming to any decent conclusion on any of this stuff, man. You got to get in there, do your research, sort it out, and not just take anything at face value anymore. You can't afford to, and that's one of the biggest problems here, and what's driving me to do what I do, because talking to everybody helps. It's like I said earlier, it's a kind of a therapy thing for me. Coming up on the 2 hours and 10 minutes. Wow, that's just too easy. I think 2 hours is probably our time.
Yeah, like we talked about before. Yeah, definitely 2 hours.
And as it
is, unless we've come totally armed with just an array of shit, or
well, I've got
something
a
has
lot of stuff here in
happened
front
and
of
it's
me.
huge news, and you can dictate, dump an hour into it or whatever,
Right. And I've got a ton of stuff here in front of me, and tonight it's just kind of flowing. I've had since Sunday to kind of be out in the world and kind of be aware of everything else other than what's going on at home here for the weekend, which I don't mind too much. Me being who I am, I love being at home. But yeah, so I was just kind of ready today to kind of let it all go out, regardless, and just get out there and talk about stuff. So even with just a minimal with just kind of a minimal start here, like just kind of opening up on local stuff and just kind of putting it out there about local life around here and doing a comparison between the two opposing papers was more than enough material to to lead me into kind of some more nationally debated topics and some things that are causing some issues in this country and keeping people separated for the dumbest reasons, right?
Yeah.
You know, there's a you know, people you know, on an individual basis, a lot of things happens. You know, a lot of things happen to people that cause them to get left behind or to get hated or to get, you know, so many things can happen. But when you're singled out is when you're the weakest. You know, and if you ever watched a pack of animals hunt another pack of animals, uh, the one thing that they do, and it's
They wait for the weak one to stray away from the pack.
well, they wait from the weak one to stray away, or the more common technique, especially among hyenas, is to separate the weak one from the pack so they can have their way with the dinner. And
There you go.
yeah. And that's how all these see without doing your due diligence. You know, the law, the dogma of the law wants to tell us the ignorance of the law is no excuse. And I can tell you, you know what? They're right. Ignorance of the law is no excuse. However, if you want to not be ignorant of the law, you better make it your major.
Yeah.
You feel me? You better make it your major. You better plan on a
Yes, sir.
$250,000 in school debt. You know that the law firm's not going to pay for because you went and got that school debt to go to work for a law firm or to be your own attorney. You know, I can see if you're your own attorney, then you should pay the money back. But if you go out there and get to work for these companies, that's who should be investing in your freaking education. What percentage of people in this country turn into business owners and entrepreneurs that are self-sufficient, financially independent versus the amount of people that come out of colleges and go to work for somebody else? Because I'll tell you what, those people that come out of colleges with this huge debt just for a degree to go to work for
The
somebody
percentages
else.
are not.
You know, again, that's us building the roads for somebody else to make the cars for us to pay for the driver. You know, why would we give the car companies roads and not have them partially responsible for it too? And we're doing the same thing for the corporations of those car companies, their engineering departments and all their financial departments and their law departments by us paying for the education that goes to employ at these companies. So they get a double whammy there, man. They're double dipping like the cable companies. You feel me? Not only do we buy the car company roads to sell us cars for, right? But they don't pay for the people that come and make them money either. They only pay them a salary. They're not involved in the education of these people at all when they're coming to work there. But yes, somebody else has got to pay. You know, there's a level there where it's like, you know, you don't want to get into socialism. But you want to give somebody some incentive to keep going, right? And like Brian said earlier, he's feeling like everybody's lazy. Nobody wants to go to work. And earlier today, I heard that, you know, the construction industry, man, the skilled trades are short 350,000 people. It's a pretty big number. There's a lot of, you know, the hospitality industry, of course, they don't pay, you know, and usually in the hospitality industry, most of these Americans you got to deal with are so damn entitled. You just don't want to do it. It's not worth it. Stay home. You make more money in an easier way staying home. I'll go DoorDash if I need some cash. Kiss my ass. You know, this gig economy is making it possible for it to change that way. You know, so maybe that's why the corporate giant is so upset with its little products. Don't your products be talking back to your big corporate daddies? Your daddies is just getting madses. Your corporate daddies
is not tonight.
Your corporate daddies is getting madses at you little products. Just go to beds. Just go to beds, little products.
You know, you have a lot of high school kids who are trying to make a living out of working at McDonald's, and you know, they want their livable wage. You know, what incentive do they have to join a different industry if they can just, you know, have a cakewalk working there?
You know, but okay, but you know, here's the thing about that cakewalk, right? It's the same position. They're in the same boat they were at $9 an hour. You know, yeah, because when they were making $9 an hour, you could get a house for $800 a month.
Right.
Now that they're making $15 an hour, you can't rent a house for anything less than $1,500 to $1,800 a month.
Very correct.
Okay, so what they did was freaking useless because in the percentile, they're still where they were at.
Exactly.
It didn't matter.
Everything has gone up. They probably can't afford to eat where they work.
Yep. So where is the benefit of this decision? You're going to tell me in a country full of NASA scientists that we can't figure out the financial mathematics? We can't see that there's a variable involved where there's money going to go one particular direction in a situation like that. Money's only
The problem
flowing.
is the more people make, the more things cost. The more people are not the more things cost, but the more people are going to charge for their goods.
Well, they have to in order to compensate. And that spike, that $15 an hour spike that we suffered over the past 3 years, all of a sudden since COVID, nobody's paying less than $15 an hour. You can do anything. You can wipe your ass for $15 an hour. You can sell pictures of your feet for $15 an hour. You can go to sleep for $15 an hour. You can do anything you want for $15 an hour pretty much anymore today. And yeah, back in the day, that would have been like, oh, kick ass. I could probably get an apartment and I might have to live off egg sandwiches for a week, but that would be okay because eggs were 99 cents a dozen and a loaf of bread was 50 cents. And I could do it. I could do oatmeal and toast. I could do pancakes and bacon, right? I can live on breakfast food until I get my next check, right? It was doable back then. It's not like that today, man. Yeah, it's gouging. No. And in all this gouging is just transferring wealth. That's all it's doing. And that's why they're so
all that gouging
that's
is
exactly why
all the gouging that these companies are doing, that's just feeding the shareholders.
Right. That's exactly what it is. You know, that's the reason why, in my belief, and I could be wrong, but this is, again, like I'm coming at this from an opinion, from what I've seen, from my observations, right? And that may not be very educated of an opinion to have, but it is an opinion. It's what gets me started. And when I start talking about it, maybe if I got something wrong, somebody will correct me and I can have a better, more educated opinion, if that's even proper English. The whole thing is a result of a hijack. I don't know where else to go with it. You know? Oh, we got Keith Mabe on the chat. What's up, Keith? How you doing, buddy? Good to see you out here, man. Hope you're enjoying the combo. We're on with our Sunday guest, our Sunday co-host, Mikey Mike. Mad Mike.
But I'm just a guest tonight.
Tonight he's a caller. Sunday he'll be my co-host, Mikey Mac and Alejandro.
Baby.
Hi, baby. Let's give Keith Mabe some drops. We're gonna give a bra to Keith Mabe, watching from the comfort of his castle. Proud owner of a 50th. Proud owner of a 50th anniversary Camaro. I'm so jelly. Although I got him in my Jeep one day and he couldn't believe how nice it rode. Oh, he's in the man cave. What happens in the man cave stays in the man cave. Way to go, Keith. Hey, thanks for hanging out with us tonight, man. And you got nothing else better to do but ride the elevator. Hey, you know, I wonder how long this one is. Oh, that's not too bad. I'm glad that's over. Tell me about it. I'm glad it's over too. Pushing the 2-hour, 20-minute mark. Unbelievably, this is so easy. I don't know why. Why is this so easy to sit here for 2.5 hours and just run my chops, get it off my chest?
I was gonna say, you've been running strong here for a couple hours now.
I really have, man. I got to, like I said, you know, there must be some tension built up in me. I just don't know what it is yet. You know, and that's pretty much what it's boiling down to, man. Like I'm glad I can get this out. You know, I'm glad I can sit here and talk about it, and I'm glad I can have people participate. You know, again, my whole goal here is just to try and create some solutions and get everybody on the same plane so we can be unified, man, because we're suffering a lot of symptoms of a much larger problem going on in this country. And I see a lot of, I think, propaganda out there about how bad and how hateful everybody is out here. I just don't experience that. You know, I had somebody hold the damn door for me the other day. Shit blew my mind.
Was it a young kid?
Hey, Keith Mabe wants it. I know, right? I know. And I had to tip him. I had to give him a 5 too before he even said thanks. Oh, geez, thanks, mister. What time does Camaro talk start? All right. You want to talk Camaros? Let's talk Camaros. Keith Mabe, maybe we'd like to come on in and do a little bit on your 50th anniversary, man. That's quite a car, and GM's not making those anymore, bud. I mean, you know, we could do a spot on a 50th anniversary Chevy Camaro. born here in Detroit. Detroit metal. You know, it doesn't get any more. It doesn't get any more American, and it doesn't get any more Detroit than the 50th anniversary Camaro. You know, and I ain't hate. I love them all,
Well-
man. I don't care. I don't care what you bring me, man. I got love for them all, and especially a Camaro, like bitchin' Camaro, right? I don't think if it wasn't for the Camaro, there wouldn't be a Firebird. Oh, some purists, some
Ooh.
purists. I know, right? Those are fighting words. Here's some more automotive fighting words for you, right? Let's step into the automotive section for a second here. Let me open up the automotive shop. Oh, I almost got
kinda
ran
wonder if
over
the
by that
Camaro's-
one.
I kind of wonder if the Camaro is going to go the way of the Mustang. It'll turn into a 4-door electric.
Oh yeah, there's definitely, but yeah, it's gonna have a different name called Buick. That's apparently. I know. Apparently, that's GM's new performance line of automotive products today. Buick. If you want to get the hell out of here in a casket, you know you're old enough now that the time is soon, so you might as well get going. Here's a Buick. 0-60 in 3.7 seconds. 16
The Buick RS.
I know, right? I kind of lost myself. Yeah. Oh, look, Keith Mabe says tires. Oh, that's where I was going with this. Thank you, Keith. Just much like if there wasn't a Chevy Camaro, there probably wouldn't have been a Pontiac Firebird. Well, the purists are going to come after me. Here's another debate for you guys. Like this is for many cross-border, cross-bound. I don't know why. Crossover in automotive genres, right? Like from off-road to road racing to rally to street racing to I don't care if it's got wheels, and this is a debate that is based on wheels and tires, and that is you can't have or make a wheel. A wheel basically consists of rims and tires, and a rim and a tire equal a wheel, and there's my automotive debate. So come on at me. Let's argue that one, right? You might even want to throw some counterweights in there, some lead weights in there too, because you don't find many wheel assemblies without weights. So
The more you know.
the more you know. I know. Who needed to know that? It was a debate I used in the off-road community a lot to get people going because it just seemed to be ridiculous. Like if you've ever had any automotive discussions in the off-road community, right? You'll know one of the most like the cliches in off-road questions are fire no. I know, right? There's going to be a battle over this one. Made of Rubber says you'll all be individualized one-to-one until you're evaluated and not a danger to the human race. That's sounds like some red flag law shit. Made of Rubber. Yeah, what do you mean, bud? Give me a call, 313-334-4203. That's right. There's a 420 in there. Give me a call. Danger to the human race. Interesting. Yeah, I know, right? Are you talking about red flag laws there, bud? Because that's what it sounds like, man. That would be so individualized one day until we're evaluated and not a danger to the human race. Okay, I got you. Individualized. Yeah, right. 1-to-1. See, lawsuits will be.
We're all dangers to our human race.
Look, here's the thing. Like you could literally remove every gun from the earth, and as soon as you turn around, these assholes are going to be smashing each other's heads in with rocks. I'm just saying.
Hammers.
You don't even need a hammer, dude. We can go all the way back to BC times and just smash your head with a rock.
Just become primal upon one another.
It doesn't even have to be an automotive thing, Yeah. Keith says rock fight. I know we did a rock fight audio drop, don't we? That's right, rock fight. Come on down to your voice talk show, right, and have a rock fight. Have a heavy metal fight too.
Gives you a whole new perspective when you see videos of the Palestinians chucking rocks at the Israelis, huh?
Well, and again, there's some very primal edge to that, right? Because as soon as you remove any other mechanical ability, these are the things that are there. These are the natural elements that evolution has given us to perform these acts of survival with. In whatever form or fashion you want to define acts of survival, this is part of the human functionality since the beginning. Picking up things around you and making tools, even if no matter what you're using it for, no matter what. So it's always going to be something, right? It always has been. All we've done is just make it easier to take out more people at one time, but there's also more people here. So exponentially, it makes sense that with more people on the earth, we're killing more people. Raytheon is taking over. Raytheon can bomb anything they want from anywhere they want with anybody without asking any permission. And they're much like Boston Dynamics is way out of their lane. Yeah, General Dynamics and all these big military industrial complex companies, man, are making products and things that are just going to be used on you one day and are already being used on people around the world. And there's truth to that. Raytheon is taking over, especially a particular part of the military industrial complex, and they have been working on that for a long time, right? Like none of this stuff is new. These countries that are these companies that are embedded in the complex are old money, right? Like these are generation. Yeah, this is a generational thing at that point. You start throwing names around like General Dynamics and Boston Dynamics and I can get a text there. I think I'm not sure. You can give it a try though. Keith May says on the chat, can you get a text to that call-in number? I'm going to say give it a try. Tonight's really the first successful night I've had using the number out of a couple of attempts here. So that's how we wound up with my Sunday co-host Mikey Mike on the line, kind of sitting in for the BS for a little while. But yeah, Raytheon and all these big corporate complex manufacturers and engineers and designers and R&D and all these, and when really they're all basically just the same, the same components, just another place to hide the money. Yeah, taken over big time, along with some other supporting corporate entities as well. But yeah, text Keith trying to send me text here. I'll pop his screen on, see if I even get it. On the phone with Mikey Mike. Give us a call, 313-334-4203.
All right, Alex, Alejandro. I'm going to clear the way for your other callers, my friend.
Okay. Hey, thanks, Mike. Thanks for calling in. We'll see you Sunday night at 6 p.m. At the Your Voice talk show showing here at the Station 8 studio. Have a great night, buddy. Thanks for the time, and we'll see you Sunday.
All right, buddy. We'll see you then.
See you, man. All right. That was Mr. Mike, my Sunday co-host. Great guy, local guy here from the Metro Detroit area. We spent a lot of time together, him and I, doing various tests throughout the area for just about a decade now. But if you got something you want to talk about, give us a call. I'm up in the 2.5 hour mark here tonight. Didn't plan on being here this long. But it's been fun for sure. Always something going on. Somebody wants to talk about something, and that's what I'm here for. This is the Your Voice talk show. So give me a call, 313-334-4203. Let's talk about something. Let's figure something out. Let's hit some touchy subjects. Let's, come and call me and question anything about me, man. Tackle my beliefs, tackle my perspectives, tackle my opinions. I'm looking to have that happen. I'm looking to do the same thing for you. We got Keith on the text. No, I'm not seeing that coming through here, Keith. However, I probably could get it here. I can pull up that number stuff. Let's see. On my Google Voice account, just go to my Google Voice account and we'll see if he got me a text. That's funny. Okay, so there all that is. And yes, I did get your text, buddy. I just didn't have it. Yes, I did. I got you, Keith. I got you right here. It showed right up. I just had the notifications turned down so that it wouldn't interrupt the stream. So yep, I got it. It said, and he said it kind of, so he didn't want me to tell anybody, but he said, did you get this? And I was like, dude, no, I'm a hashtag pure blood over here. That's right. I'm pure blood. If you want to talk about the and get talking about some conversations there, I'm a pure blood. How about you?
Oh yeah.
Did you say no?
Oh yeah.
Did you say yes?
Oh yeah.
Did you say yeah?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh look. Oh, I hopefully. Look. You know what? This is awesome because now I'm finding out. Yes, that's right. Ooh, hey, let's show a picture. Let's drag this over here. Let's show everybody what we're talking about when we say a 50th anniversary Camaro. I'm gonna go here with it. Here we go. Let's slide me over here. There you go. There she is right there. That's the 50th anniversary. If you can see that. That's her right there. What a beautiful set of colors too. Reminds me of that's like a gunmetal, huh? And that was a main color of my my Jeep scheme. Yeah. New rims. Same tires. Keith Mabe in the comment section talking about his new rims. Looks like he's got new rims, but he doesn't have the same tires. Does it mean your wheels are different? What's going on there? Be more specific. The big debate right now with the 50th Camaro. If it wasn't for the Camaro, would there have been a Firebird? New rims, new tires. Baby's got new shoes, Keith. Yeah, she's beautiful. I like that. You're looking at a Keith. If you could give me an idea as to what year is that? You say that was? I don't remember. She's a beaut though. Rim plus tire equals wheel. What do you think? Both are new. Yeah, I know, right? You wouldn't do it any other way, would you, bud? That 50th anniversary Camaro deserves all the love. That's your baby. I understand, and you shouldn't give it anything less. And I hear she's got low miles too. Oh yeah, that's right. Okay, that was a 2017 and number 1 of 5,000. Right, so we're talking a potential family heirloom here. If you're from the motor, excuse me, look at that. If you're from the Motor City, having a hand-me-down 50th anniversary Camaro is a gift from God. Plain and simple, is a gift from God. I mean, that's how I would look at it, especially since I've had to build anything I've ever had, except for my bus, But yeah, that's a beautiful car, and I can tell you that I'm personally glad to have seen it, been in, and actually raced it down 8 Mile, or no, it wasn't 696 against my work van. Yeah, he didn't have a chance of. Oh yeah. Keith says, hey, thank you very much. I give him some love for my Jeep over here, a 96 Grand Cherokee. Appreciate that. Yeah, I remember that when you got in that bad boy, man. You were surprised with how cush the ride was. I'll never forget. That was such a compliment to me, man, because I tell you, I got a lot of research and a lot of hard work, and not only fabricating but designing that suspension to get it just right, just so you could get that cush. But yeah, that was, dude. And there's many more, man. I'm telling you, I that Jeep is still here, and it's just kind of waiting for me to find the time to get it some love. But right now, I got some work to do because the squad's getting together and everybody's moving in a particular direction, and I'm going to move with them. And I think you know what you're talking about here on the Your Voice talk show. We're talking about moving in the direction of personal accountability. We're talking about moving in the direction of truth. We're talking about moving in the direction of coming to the realization of what's really going on here, and what state this country is really kind of in, and what state, if the country's in a bad state, how does that translate locally? So yeah, it translates locally. It translates locally to from 2018, 80,000 Ford Lincoln units being shipped out to 2023. Okay, we're talking a 5-year span, right? Ford Motor Company goes from pushing 80,000 units out to China, okay, to now in 2023 pushing units from China to America. Why? I mean, why? Does it make that much business sense to sail that stuff across the sea? Sail it across the sea. Get me new Lincolns over to America. Hurry, hurry. I must sell me new Lincolns, Chinese-made Lincolns. They're going to show up in like this metal card, this little, like a half-inch square tube. Arty har. Your Lincoln's going to show up in like this crate that Amazon would send over, like some kind of electric scooter, and it's got a little steel frame around it with some cardboard and some plastic wraps. How your Lincoln's going to show up, shipped to the United States if it ever makes it. Can you imagine what quality control is going to be? I bet, it might be pretty good. China being the world's maker of things now. Like, nobody makes anything now. China does all that. So it'd be easy enough just to cut you off. But yeah, Ford Motor Company shipping all those jobs overseas, shipping all that product manufacturing, and for shipping vehicles here. Now in 2018, I read they were looking into building a plant there because they were selling 80,000 units a year there. 5 years ago. Today, different story. And that's some automotive news for you there. And that one, man. We're getting into the Jeeps and we're getting into the Camaros here. Why not? It's got to be part of the conversation being from the Metro Detroit. Sports team's not doing us too proud, but we're doing. Our guys always looking to get better. Still got the great Stevie Yzerman in hockey here in Detroit. Thank God for that, man. You know what? I don't care how bad. I looking at Stevie's face. You know what? I just it's a part of me, man. Like Stevie Yzerman's been with Detroit so long, it's literally a part of me, right? Just like the Drew and Mike guys, a little bit of Detroit history going on there. But anyways, we're coming into the just past the 2.5 hour mark, and I think it's about time for me to say goodnight to everybody and get ready for my Sunday show with Mike Kohler and the East Side Stream. Going to be covering some more local, going to be covering some more national, we're going to be covering some more everything with some rhetorical sarcasm, as good as we can get it to you. We're going to refine our sound drop file and get everything squared away now that we have 100%. Hey, in the chat there. Good night, Keith. Hey, man, thanks for hanging out with us again. We'll be back Sunday night. Come and check us out. Give us a call. Let's talk about a few things, whatever you want. We'll hit every topic. We got a little bit of something for everyone. I've got a lot of experience in my life here, and looking forward to it, Keith. Really, and we get some conversation going. So let's figure out what size lift, right? You want to talk to me Sunday about what size lift? Let's do that. We'll talk gear ratios and tire size. We'll talk, double wishbone, single wishbone, double triangulate, double four link, quad link, radius arm. We'll talk whatever you want automotive. And we'll get into some of the politics, maybe some of the local stuff, and start tearing some more things apart. Maybe between now and Sunday, I'll have a million more questions. Maybe I'll be baffled by something, because that's pretty normal around here in Detroit. I'll tell you, Detroit ain't got a lot of the problems, like I was saying, Kensington Street earlier, and the homeless issues around this country that, the West Coast has managed to get themselves into. But we got some other weird shit going on here. Like this northern Midwestern vibe is like totally different, eh? Like we're between cheeseheads and East Coast, like, I don't know. What are they fancy over there? Anyways, I thank everybody that's hung out with me tonight. Take off, hoser, right? That's a Michigan thing because of our Canadian brothers, which we love so much across the border there. Too bad they're suffering under the rule of a not real Frenchman. If he was a real Frenchman, he would have ousted himself a long time ago. I can tell you that. Growing up with these people, let me tell you, nobody holds a revolt like the French. Vive la France. So we'll see you all Sunday night, and I'm signing out. And thanks everybody for joining.